All right, so time to take a look at the fights that we made. First off, it's a rematch. Tony Seals versus Andre Foster III. This is going to be, yeah, a rematch. I believe Foster won the first fight. I believe Foster is one of Tony's losses. Yeah, he got knocked out in the third round by Andre Foster. So obviously a good pressure fight there by Andre Foster in the first one. I think he actually took Tony the Real Deal Seals as 0 there. So Tony Seals looking to get back at the guy who took his O. And then Steve Ervin against this guy. Unpronounceable name. Sorry, can't do it. Pretty good fighter, though, from Bangkok. Even Rodriguez against a veteran Ramiro Santos. Good defensive fighter with good stamina. Brian Mitchell and Hartman and Rigoberto Grant and Ramos are all going to get easy wins on this card. Maybe this guy's tough. Not really. And then Andy Fitch versus Aketiel Iki? Dude, come on now. Andy Fitch versus Mai. Aketele Iki? Aketeliki. Aketeliki Mai. Where's he from? Aketeliki. There we go. He's from China. I thought he was African. Aketeliki. I was like, this dude's gonna be from like Ghana or like Tanzania or something. Now, Aketeliki wouldn't be Ghana. It would be somewhere in like, yeah, sub-Saharan Africa. And then it's China. Aketeliki? That okay. Okay, that's interesting. Fred Morales versus Charo Palacios. Morales are going to go to 24-0. There was a harder fight there for him, but I wimped out. I want him to be undefeated. I want him to stay undefeated, dang it. Speaking of undefeated, Jose Edwards, who just lost his undefeated record against Christian Alei, looking to get back in the win column. Frankie Edwards, a tough fight. We always give him the tough fights, though, against Mario Abel Jimenez. Let's watch Frankie Edwards continue to be a warrior. Pena versus Impili here. Impili, nah, he's not really a match for Pena. Hopefully Pena gets to 17-0 there. And Philippone against Julian Cordier. By the way, Raymond Pena at a quiet 16-0 if there ever was one. He really has done it his own way. Very quietly and very effectively. How many knockouts? 13. Yeah, man. He's a puncher, all right. David Flores versus Abel Cash. In the heavyweight division, there's a few good fights on this card. Abel Cash, actually 30, and a much bigger man than Flores, who's coming off the Cotrill draw. I obviously wanted to rematch that immediately, but it wasn't available for whatever reason. I think it may be because Flores is overranked at this point, actually. Cotrill may be the underranked fighter after that draw. That draw did a lot more harm to Cotrill than it did to Flores. If I'm guessing? Yeah. Cotrill is a lot lower in the rankings. That seems unfair. Well, that's why he's fighting Ramatswana. So we're going to take care of that, but we'll get there in a minute. Randy Dale fighting a familiar name in Andric Ontiveros. Max Rice versus Michi Sanchez. Javonte Williams versus Herculano? Yeah, Herculano. Anthony Rios versus Alexis Ruiz. Soto versus Andy Early. Jair Salinas versus Kagiso and Tony Ali making his second career fight. I love how small he is, man. I love how undersized Tony Ali is for a cruiserweight at 5'11". And the main event here, Cotrill versus Uma Ramatswana. Hopefully Upa Ramatswana. Obviously former champion, contender as well, obviously, but a long reigning champion. A lot of classic fights, a lot of wins. Beat Michael O'Malley. Finally lost his belt to Danny Snow, who's still the champion. I believe Danny Snow is still the champion. Yes. He's the ring champion. Wow. Come on, Ring. You have to. Ring, will you respect James Ray for 5 seconds? How on earth is anybody but James Ray your champion right now if you're going to have one? That's a little ridiculous, just giving it to Snow. That's kind of stupid. But Ramatswana only lost his belt to a really good fighter in Snow. And I still consider him a championship level fighter. This is a really tough fight for Cotrill, but it would be a big statement win to get him back into the picture in the division. Young, going to get a win against Joffrey Pano, hopefully. Sarnoy, hopefully back in the win column, but it's a powerful puncher and Jamarcus Ferguson, so we're going to stay at distance. We have it's a 14-inch reach advantage. Yeah, so we're going to try to use that. Oscar Garcia versus Esker. Rodriguez versus Jose Rocha. That should be a win there for Amir Rodriguez, who continues to impress. Darius Mitchell against Ramon Mendeville. And Cardo versus Kevin Romain. That should be an easy win. And that's all the fights we have booked, so we probably have some title fights first. Been loving the response to the series so far, man. I didn't expect anybody to watch this. But yeah, I've got a lot of Boxing Manager content planned on the channel. We're going to make shorter form videos. When we get some legends and this saves some real true legends, I'll go back and Put some highlights together, make highlight tapes, like little mini documentaries about the champions. That's really going to be one of my favorite features of this save, and we're definitely going to have sort of a summary video at the end. We may even have, I don't know, I may make a special video whenever we win a championship. I probably will upload our first championship fight in full. I would like to have some shorter form content from the save to give the people who watched episode 1. But then, you know, I think a lot of people, they watch episode 1, it's 24 minutes. It sucks that I didn't have a voice filter on that episode, but they watch that episode and they're turned off by the length of the videos later on in the series. And so I would like to just have some shorter form content, some highlight content from the series. People who don't want to watch the whole videos, which I totally understand. All right, we got some title fights. I mean, that's only for one belt, so I might not watch it, actually. It's in between two fighters who don't have that crazy of record. Just a one belt title fight that's also this week. And Donnelly versus Palacios is next week. That's going to be a crazy one. Amperan versus McKernan is going to be in 2 weeks' time. And Donnelly is next week. Okay. But no, actually, these are all before our event. So yeah, we have title fights to watch. Let's do that. This is a pretty even fight. Nettie, pretty good. A lot of punch power on him, and the defense and the aggression. The one takes punishment. Let's see what he can do. I hate the accidental pun. It's actually no pun intended. I'm actually just saying his name. I actually want to see what he can do here in the first round. He can't do much. This is a I meant it that time. He can't do much. It doesn't seem like. Pretty slow first round. I think we're watching this on medium. You can watch that on 1.5 speed. Watch that on 1.5 speed. How about it? Fastest. Thank you. These aren't even our fighters. Big round. Nettie, big round. Uh-oh. Africa and China. Oh, man. That was a round and 3/4. All right. How do I summarize that? He got off to a big lead. Huge round. Nettie lands a knockdown. He gets back up and does good work. Gets up from an 8 count. And this fight got crazy. We're putting it on fast for sure. We're not going fastest anymore. They just proved this is a war right now. There's only one belt this isn't for. That's sort of one of my problems. I don't know how often that actually happens in boxing. Like, how hard is it to get that other belt on board for an undisputed? How often has there been, like, a fight that's for every belt but one? I feel like when you have every belt but one, you at least get that other belt. There's not many fights like this where it's for, like, the Champ magazine and then 3 of the 4 belts. I feel like why would one? I mean, I guess it's boxing. Any kind of BS can happen. There has to have been an example of just one belt organization holding out in a title fight. It must have happened, as they're really doing equal damage to each other here. But Nettie with a better round, a bit of a comeback round to get back in the fight. He's still the less energetic fighter. The damage is very even. Nettie piling it on. He hitting back. Even work. He piling forward. Nettie counterpunching. Back from he. This fight is crazy. I feel like Nettie has to do good work here. He's going to gas soon. And when he gasses, it's going to be he's turn to pile on pressure forward. And there we go. Zhu Bao He. How about that, huh? And then Nettie coming back now. It's 11 straight punches on apparently an empty gas tank. Doesn't seem like that to me. As Felix Nettie off the back foot. He's not doing near lethal damage to he. And here comes he. Might have even stolen the round there at the end. He didn't have ring control, at least. I'm sure his supporters will say that he won that round. An impressive comeback performance, but Nettie is for sure standing up to the undefeated Chinese champion. And there's a knockdown for he. Will Nettie get up? It's the second knockdown of the fight. This time, actually, he was knocked down the first time. Nettie gets up at 5. But he's severely damaged. Then, yeah, he's going to finish this fight, it seems like. Yep. The final blow. There was about a minute left, and it was 98%. It was like Nettie's really going to have to cover up, but he landed the final shot. And Zhu Bao He defends his undefeated record. The pride of Sanju, China. Zhu Bao He. Still the Champ Magazine, WBA, IBF, WBO featherweight title holder. Give him that last belt. How about it? Can we unify? That is just frustrating. Having every belt but one in the hands of one champion. Yeah, it's 2 undefeated guys, too. Let's see. Let's see what Sarkozy can do. He's got low defense. I think they might actually... Does he have low defense? He does. It's 2 low defense champions. And by the way, Zubao He, once again proving that punch accuracy is all that matters. If you've got good punch accuracy, you can go far. You can go anywhere in this game with good punch accuracy. Think about it. It's boxing. Could there be a more important stat? Could there be a more important attribute, really, than punch accuracy? If you have 1 punch accuracy, how are you even in the game? How are you even landing anything? How are you even winning? How would you ever win a fight? We'll see if Brian Mitchell is actually legit. He's off to a good start, though. He's doing his job. He's beating the guys we're putting in front of him. Bill Donnelly versus Uriel Palacios. Is this a rematch? Yeah, it is. Donnelly won and dominated the first fight. So I don't know if Palacios necessarily deserves this rematch, but he's going to get the rematch anyway. And let's go. Whoopsie. And Palacios winning 2 rounds here on Donnelly. He did not like how definitive that first result was. He wants to prove people he's got something here on the undefeated champion. Donnelly with a good round there. He's still the more damaged fighter. Palacios didn't take much damage in that round, despite taking a lot of blows. Donnelly piling on damage, but losing the round. I feel like I keep saying that Donnelly is the more damaged fighter, but he is, and it's only been 59 punches through 6 rounds here from the undefeated Donnelly. Now it's a lot more than that. Big round 7 from Donnelly. Definitely won that one. He's definitely won a few rounds here, but speaking of winning rounds, Palacios absolutely clobbers Donnelly in the first couple of minutes of that round. We've got a close fight here, ladies and gentlemen. Donnelly is ahead on power punches, and he's an undefeated champion, so he's winning rounds as well. It's going to be hard for them to take his belt away at this point, right? I think that if the fight ended right now, Donnelly would definitely have won a decision. Well, Palacios has to do more, and that's not doing more. He takes a lot of damage and gets a lot of his energy drained. And that's another round win for Donnelly, who I think at this point, he's pretty much sewed it up. That's an even round. But there's no knockdowns. I think Donnelly's pretty much got this. He's got more energy, and he's got Palacios damaged. But Palacios proved that he belonged in a ring with Donnelly for sure. Maybe, at the end of the day, with how talented Donnelly is, that was the most that he could have hoped for here against a truly great undefeated champion. And it's the final round 12. And Donnelly takes that one as well. 113, 113. I am speechless. Bill Donnelly. Ireland, of all the countries to tick off, there is some violence going on tonight. There is some rioting going on right now in the country of Ireland. People are throwing shit. People are not happy. Every pub in the country of Ireland is having a clear-out, full-on Donnybrook barroom tilt in response to this development. Excuse me, how on earth did Bill Donnelly lose that fight? Please sit here and explain to me. Were all of the judges Nicaraguan ministers? Was every single one of them a Nicaraguan diplomat? Were all of them working for the Nicaraguan Secret Service? Please explain to me how Uriel Palacios wins that fight. Especially over an undefeated Bill Donnelly. I just don't see it, but we're for sure getting a third fight. I guess I have to just keep it in my head. Bill Donnelly is still undefeated to me. He's still probably undefeated to a lot of people. He especially won the second half of that fight. I don't even necessarily know if he lost this round here. And yeah, he did. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-5. And I guess they gave some 10-8s. Something in there. I don't know. I want a more comprehensive breakdown on the scoring for that one. Look at the purse difference. 31K Palacios to Donnelly's 7.8 million for a loss. I cannot believe that. Like, a draw would have made me speechless. A Palacios majority decision is the most controversial decision we've had in the save so far. That's wild. to take 3 middleweight titles away from Donnelly. I mean, maybe pull, but you got to give him a rematch. I mean, yeah, it's an easy 3 belts there for a Tony Seals or any of our high ranked middleweights, but nah, Donnelly shouldn't have lost that fight. That's a crazy result. That's a crazy result. I think I called that fight properly while I was watching it in terms of the ebbs and flows. I mean, Donnelly definitely led on absolutely led on power punches. There's no question of that. On to Amperan versus McKiernan. Oh, I hit the button. I'm sorry, guys. But we're going to have to find out. There's a big green button in the corner of the screen. I do that sometimes. Martinez Morales beats Wilmer Merchant, so we don't have to worry about there being some big upset in that one. And Edgar Amperan beats Mike McKiernan. So you know what? We just found out what we already knew. And still being the theme of the day. So did we actually miss too much? And now we can just get right to Cotrill versus Ramatswana. And shame only a half capacity here at Dignity Health Sports Bar. Guess they don't. Guess all the Ricardo Cotrill haters on Twitter were kind of right. He just doesn't sell. He just can't sell out those big venues, bro. That's what they say on X. X, it's called, not Twitter. The Elon verse. Also, this is going to be dated by the time this episode comes out, but John Jones talking to Francis Ngannou on Twitter, like, bro, he's just torturing he's just torturing Dana White. I mean, it could all be a big, long, extra long ploy for Dana White and John Jones to cross promote an Ngannou fight, an Ngannou boxing match in Saudi Arabia, to be honest, because that was my thought. It's like, box each other. Stop wasting the UFC's time. As Jesus Cardo just got his undefeated record. Ooh, never mind. Split decision. He escapes against Kevin Romain. Those 6-round heavyweight fights can be a little dangerous. We dropped the first 2 rounds, but we win the last 4. Well, I was talking about the UFC heavyweight situation, which, you know, John Jones is ruining the UFC heavyweight division with this crap. Out in Thailand. And I just think it's going to end. It could end with him versus Ngannou, but it could really end with him retired. I don't think that fight's ever going to happen. I think he just wants to keep his name in the news cycle, to be honest with you. And at this point, it's just torturing Dana, where it's like, look, I can make myself the biggest star in the UFC without the UFC. Right? That's what he's trying to prove, that he doesn't need the UFC to make himself a star. And that's why it makes Dana look so bad, and that's why it makes the UFC look so bad. Because it's supposed to. That's the point. And if that's going to be the attitude and that's going to be the point, then like John Jones just need to cut the crap and box. Because if you think John Jones wouldn't be a great boxer, you're out of your mind. And I want to see John Jones box. I think John Jones would be a world heavyweight champion if he was a boxer. I really genuinely have that opinion. He's one of the most dangerous combat sports athletes on the planet. He would absolutely be the heavyweight champion of the world if he was a boxer. I don't think he's a great human being. But he's got an 84.5-inch reach at 6'4". He's got the same inch as Steven Struve, who is 7 feet tall, right? He has freakishly long arms, insane kicks, and he's the most dangerous, violent finisher I've ever seen. He has unbelievable finishing instincts that would absolutely play in boxing. Are you kidding me? He's like a way better. I'm sorry, like, just genuinely, I know that boxing has kicks, and it's not really comparable, but like John Jones is a way better finisher than Deontay Wilder, who's one of the better heavyweight finishers of, you know, in boxing in the last 20 years. All he did was finish. I mean, he was an underrated boxer. A lot of boxers who are thought of as only doing one thing, like Mike Tyson and that sort of ilk, are thought of as one-dimensional boxers. That's how George Foreman was thought of before his comeback, and then he got to show off that he can actually box when he was in his 40s, and he kind of had to. But, you know, I think that it would be funny if after all of this, John Jones actually does end up fighting and lays an egg. And Sarnoy loses again. We tried to use our reach there like we said we would. I put it on natural style in the first 2 rounds, and we just got pieced up. And I tried to put it on jab and move to use the distance, and Ferguson just found our range and beat us up. This 90-inch reach doesn't seem to be helping Sarnoy that much. The knockout record is fun, but yeah, cutting Dimash Sarnoy is tough because I don't like cutting a fighter with a special attribute like his reach. But his chin is totally cracked. And there's going to be more heavyweights in the future. He's got 4 more fights. You know what? I'm going to give him a couple more chances to impress me. If he can get to 12-5, maybe I'll rethink it. But he's absolutely one loss away right now from me ending this thing, from me putting the kibosh on Dimash Sarnoy. A fighter with a long reach is cool, but he's got to actually win fights, man. Thomas Young. Ooh, almost. Hey, I said almost a first-round knockout. He does get a first-round knockout. Gets a knockdown and a knockout. The good old knockdown and a knockout for Thomas Young. Round 1. Thomas Young flying under the radar here at bantamweight. We haven't really had a really top-level bantamweight yet, I don't think. And this is going to be a tough one. Cotrill versus Ramatswana. Cotrill's always been a very tactical fighter. It's a big first round from Ramatswana. It's not surprising. Ramatswana is an incredibly gifted puncher. Former heavyweight champion, as we said. Big shot to the head, though, from Cotrill. Cotrill doing some good work there at the end of the round. The more damaged fighter, for sure. I want to see a good round 2 here. It's a good start to round 2 for Cotrill. Landing combos, landing a power punch. Ramatswana very much in the round, though. Cotrill, big combo. Opens a cut on Ramatswana's left eye. Cotrill, another clean shot. He's landing shots. He's landing punches. A good counter punch there, but Cotrill, wow. A good round. From Ricardo Cotrill. I think... Do we go to the body? I think I might just pile on pressure here, man. It's a heavyweight fight. We did a good job initiating the action in that round. Let's try to initiate the action in this round here as well. It's an action-packed heavyweight fight so far. Big shots from both sides. Going at it, middle of the ring, Ramatswana and Cotrill. Swinging big power shots at each other. Ramatswana landing more now. Cotrill with a few back. But that's a big round for Upa Ramatswana. And we're going to go back to natural style because I don't want to take too much damage. We may have initiated a little too much action there. Ramatswana now, the more energetic fighter. And of course, probably on skill set, the more dangerous fighter. But Cotrill continuing to land volume punches. And he may have lost this round because of the power punches from Ramatswana. And the ring control. Yeah, Ramatswana definitely won that round, unfortunately, on the cards. But we're going to have to sit here and hope the cards don't matter. We are down in this fight. I think this would be an ideal time to go to the body. We have a little energy left, and we're not the more damaged fighter, except now we are. As we get in Ramatswana's range, and he starts pounding on us, hopefully we can survive. This can happen on pile. Like I want to swing the stamina battle, but we just take so much damage sometimes when we pile on pressure. Sorry, when we go to the body. It's another big power punch from Ramatswana, who won that round clean. And I'm going to go for broke with the last 2% of my energy. Get back in that range, but this time go to the head. There we go. A couple shots to the head. Ramatswana now landing back. Big shot. Yeah, he knows how to hit Cotrill at this point. And hopefully Cotrill can stay in the fight to the end of this round, but I'm not counting my eggs. I think this thing's going to be over. I think Ramatswana's got plenty of time to hit him. No, a couple good shots from Cotrill scares him off. It's a big round loss, though. Ramatswana, we have pretty much no choice but to cover up. We're not really in this fight. We're pretty behind. Good shot to start the round, but if Ramatswana does any kind of work here with us starting the round at 78%, this fight's going to be over here in round 7. Cotrill, though, keeping it low pace. Doing some good work. Making me think about jab and move here. I don't know how effective jab and move is going to be on 0% energy. I don't know how well we can move. We might just get caught. But we won that round. That's just natural style. Trust that Cotrill was going to try to not get KO'd. Great round from Cotrill, piling it on. And Cotrill, he keeps it slow, he keeps it steady. He's winning these rounds. I don't know about pile-on pressure. I don't know about getting into his range. I think that we can rack up some points here. And it's a knockdown. I was going to say maybe attack at the end. There's some attack by Cotrill. Is he going to get up? Oh, he is going to get up. Man. See, we might still lose on the points now that he got up from that. And we're not landing anymore in this round. Oh, there's a big heavy punch. I think it's going to tempt me to pile on pressure. Oh, it definitely is. Now he stops the fight. We're not going to have to pile on pressure. Ricardo Cotrill, man, he is a tactical mastermind. What is his ring IQ? He just always finds a way to win. Only 12. I doubt it. So many Ricardo Cotrill fights are like that. He's a great heavyweight in that way. He stays in the fight. He sticks in there through all the punishment, through all the damage. Stays a factor in the fight and gets the finish when his opponent gets tired. That was fantastic by Cotrill there. Using the advantage as the smaller man. Once he got tired, He got to the inside, took some damage getting to the inside, but he found his range and managed to slow the fight down and do good work at the end until his opponent was exhausted and out of there. Cotrill and Flores are sort of becoming two of my favorite fighters. That does tend to happen with the heavyweights. You do tend to have a soft spot for those heavyweights who are on your roster for a long time and collect a lot of wins and a lot of knockouts, obviously. But, man, both of them, there's just something to both of them. You just see heavyweights, you just see them go through a lot more adversity, I guess, to be honest. They tend to go through a lot more adversity, obviously. Just in the inherency of the division. It's such a stacked division all the time. There's so much talent in the heavyweight division all the time. Even from a very young age as a prospect, you're put up against really high-level opposition. And Ricardo Cotrill, the #1 heavyweight contender in the world, according to the WBC. How about that? Number 8 by the WBA. The IBF is hating number 22, but he's in their rankings in the WBO. Number 11, number 6 in North America. We take more look at rankings. Look at Max Rice, man. People love Max Rice. Max Rice, a top 5 super flyweight according to everybody. Don't know if that's going to last, to be honest. I don't know if that's going to last for Max Rice. Brandon Ramos, looking for his 3rd consecutive win at heavyweight. This one should be no problem. Whoops, I put it on fast. This one should be on fastest. It's going to be one of the fastest fights, probably. I doubt this gets out of the first round. Ality needs to actually throw a punch. Look at Brandon Ramos piling forward. Rigoberto Grant. Two knockdowns there by Grant in the 3rd round, and my doubts about having him as a cruiserweight become more and more assuaged every day. Hartman versus Chapaka. I'm still mad that Hartman isn't undefeated. Taking a little too much damage here. But now it's okay. Strong last couple rounds. Let's go jab and move. I'm sick of Hartman not jabbing and moving. Hartman is my jab and move guy. Oh, yes. Still hasn't finished this. It's a little annoying. Come on, Hartman. Let's go. He's close. We're going to pile on pressure in the last round. Enrico Hartman. He doesn't get a finish there. That fight was sort of set up for him to get a finish. It sucks that he doesn't add a knockout to his record. Well, it's a pretty wide unanimous decision win there for Rico Hartman, obviously. Brian Mitchell, 10-0, we were just talking about him. He hasn't really had a fight against high-level opposition yet. It might actually be true. Saul Quigley, he either could be about the standard of his opposition or maybe a little bit above his normal opposition. He might have been fighting total scrubs the entire time, but Quigley looks like a total scrub compared to Brian Mitchell. It's a first-round knockout for Mitchell. He improves to 11-0 with 11 KOs. Even Rodriguez looking to go to 10-0 at heavyweight. Let's look for KO. Let's look for KO. We know who we're fighting with here. And we get it. Let's go. I specifically requested it. I hit the knockout button. I specifically requested a knockout, and he did it. Fantastic. My new favorite fighter, Eben Rodriguez. Hit the KO button. Eben Rodriguez will oblige. Ervin, up 3-0 right now. Oh, he gets knocked down. Whoa, 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 whoa. Chamawang knocked him down there. Let's cover up. Man, we are on the brink of getting stopped. We're going to stay covered up. Okay, we're safe-ish. Jab and move. Dance, dance. Okay, good, 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 good. Now we can pile on pressure. We've been so close to getting stopped the whole fight, and we get the stoppage. We had to tactician our way to that victory. Chamawang proved to be tough there. That knockdown really swung the fight. We were winning. Very in control there for the first 4 rounds, and Chamawang gets a knockdown with 3 power punches there in round 5, and we basically had to spend the rest of the fight recovering. We had to spend these 2 rounds on cover up and jab and move just to try to recover from the big power shot. Fortunately for us, we succeeded. Steve Ervin gets a win. 3 losses for each fighter. This is their 2nd time fighting, this time for the regional middleweight title. I'm sure it wasn't for the North American middleweight title the first time. Foster's chin and on the canvas, I would assume, have regressed since then in his losses up at championship level. Both these men have fought for the middleweight title of the world. And this is a highly anticipated middleweight fight. It's a good start for Foster. Trying to beat those washed up allegations, but it wouldn't be the first time a fighter who everyone said is washed up came out like an absolute bull in a china shop at the start of a fight. It's up to Seals to stay calm here and not get knocked out. I don't know about covering up in round 2. I would rather actually stand and trade here still and see if we can actually find our way into his range. Foster is still damaging us. I mean, you have to remember the results of the first fight. Foster just absolutely destroyed Seals in the first fight in 3 rounds, and it's on track to happen again. We're going to have to cover up in round 3. The first fight was exactly like this. Foster dominated the first fight. He's dominating the second fight now. It may just be a bad matchup for Tony Seals. It's a much larger man than Foster, I know, at 6'1". He's got a 4-inch height advantage and a reach advantage to match. Cover up seems to be working. The counter punching seems to be working. Seals wins around there, but still incredibly close to being stopped, unfortunately. 88%. We start the round at 45, land a big power shot. That's not too bad, and now Foster suddenly, the more damaged fighter, a good recovery round there for Tony Seals, I guess, in round 3. Leads to a good round 4, where he's doing real significant damage. Foster lands some at the end there, but Seals still ahead in the fight. We're going to stay on natural style. This is a gem of a fight. This is a good one. And there's a big shot there from Seals. He's got Foster almost finished. He can't really chase it, though. Foster may even have won the round. That was incredibly even. We are going to pile on pressure. We're going to give the fans what they want. Consequences be damned. If we lose, we lose, man. These guys are going at it. Tony Seals wants to avenge the guy who took a 0, and Foster wants to prove that he deserves back at championship level, and he's landing big now. Seals landing back, but Foster took that round, and you know what? He didn't damage me enough, and it's an excuse for me to go back on cover up, where we've been at our best in this fight, and where I think we can maybe deal some damage back. I may be being overly optimistic. Nope, there it is. A cut on his forehead for Seals. Sorry, for Foster, from big shots from Seals. But the first shot of the round from Foster damages Seals. Foster, big cut reopens. Seals still working. And you know what? With these cuts open on Foster's face, and us down in energy, and us being the smaller fighter, we got 4 rounds left. The go to the body writes itself. We have to do this right now. If we get KO'd, we get KO'd. We said that the last couple rounds. Foster's shown an ability to damage us, but there isn't much damaging going on. And it's a chance for Seals to get inside and try to score points by winning a round. And it's more big shots. I assume he's tiring out Foster here. He's taking some in return now here to end the round. A good 1-2 from Seals. And the energy is definitely a little more even. Maybe not as much as we wanted as we go back to natural style in round 9. Slow start to the round. Seals with a hard punch, uppercut. Another punch landed by Seals. Foster didn't like that. Evens up the round and starts to land big power shots. Foster taking the round. It's a big counter punch from Seals, but it's not going to be enough. Right now, Foster is ahead in this fight. We've got 15%, 10% to 15%. So I'm going to pile on pressure. I think this is an appropriate scenario to do that. Try to make him use the rest of that energy. And that was the correct decision. It's a knockdown. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Foster's not getting up. Tony Seals has knocked him out. This rivalry is 1-1. What a comeback performance by Tony the Real Deal Seals for his 30th professional win. Hello, highlight tape. What a win by Tony Seals. 19 defensive skills, 20 aggression. Those defensive skills came into play, but it's the punching accuracy that carried him through, and that chin as well. The chin advantage, the ability to take more damage from Foster and stay in there. He was damaged from early in the fight, and he managed to control the tempo of the fight, control the pace of the fight. And that go to the body round really, really helped to even things out and give him a framework to work on here late in the fight to really begin to win rounds and impose himself on the fight and on Andre Foster. And what a win there for Tony Seals. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. That was a blast. I mean, can we get Tony Seals a title shot at some point? Like, he really, really deserves another title chance. He really does. And it's Gomez versus Sosa. And these two guys, speaking of rivalries where two guys knock each other out, man. We're watching this one on fast because last time we were like, this is going to be a classic rematch. And then it's just a KO one. Sosa spent, I don't know how long, only a couple months. But that couple months, he spent every waking moment thinking about that knockout at the hands of Gomez. And then Sosa came out and just flatlined him in the last fight. Or rather, other way around. Gomez came out and flatlined Sosa after being knocked down the first time. They're really evenly matched, too. But the bad chin from Gomez could lead to Sosa cracking him again. And this could be a quadrology. These guys could fight as many times as you want them to. Round one. What are the betting odds? Pretty even. Round one. We're going on fast. Will it be another first round KO? Sosa dominant in round one. Gomez looking to counter. Gomez with an incredible round two here, including a knockdown. Sosa up at the count of 7, and Sosa's going to have to dig deep to take the lead in this legendary rivalry. Sosa, more big shots. Landing back, or rather landing big shots back. He's the one who took the big shots. Now in with a comeback here in round 3. Big punches. Strong connection. Gomez lands a couple shots back, but it's not enough. It's a Sosa round for sure. Gomez landing first in round 4, damaging Sosa. It's a slow round, but Gomez continuing to pile forward. Sosa now standing up and counterpunching. It's not going to be enough work. Gomez takes round 4, round 5. Gomez continuing to lead the fight, continuing to control the fight against Sosa. And a slow last couple of rounds. Gomez, though, doing damage here towards the end of the round. Big shots, big combinations. It's impressive. Sosa really can take punishment. He's taken a lot of punishment in this fight so far, and is only now starting to show it as Gomez with another incredibly strong round. And Sosa needs to start punching. Sosa needs to start trying a little harder. There's nothing else I can say. He's got to let his hands go a little bit. He's getting walloped now. Gomez pouring it on. And those Sosa fans are probably just in the crowd there coping that yo, these are break rounds. He's gonna turn it on. Watch, he'll turn it on any round now, and he just keeps getting whooped by Gomez. The first two fights were the two combatants knocking each other out, flexing and showcasing their power. This has been a one-sided boxing lesson by Emerson Gomez, proving he is the superior pugilist, at least at this point, if the knockouts on the record don't prove it otherwise. Gomez so far has made Sosa pay, as Sosa with the last of his energy claims around, and now Gomez will have the rest of the fight to just work on a gassed Gonzalo Sosa. Let's see what he has in the dregs of that gas tank. An empty gas tank has won fighters' fights before. We've seen some miraculous performances on empty gas tanks. Like this one right here. Damage from Gomez. Sosa. A good round 10. He's won the last couple of rounds. It's not enough to make this that close on the cards, as Gomez with big damage to start round 10. It's just been tough for Sosa. Gomez continuing to pile forward. And Emerson Gomez wins round 10. Round 11, Gomez continuing to pile on. It's so much punishment to Sosa. I feel like everything I've said this whole fight is just Gomez, we're doing good work. Gomez piling on. Gomez landed big shots. That's all it's been. Emerson Gomez. This has been a one-sided beatdown of Gonzalo Sosa. Would leave absolutely no doubt who the super middleweight champion of the world is. Emerson Gomez. He was champion before. He's champion now. Remember who the challenger was the first time. And new, I think. And there's the knockdown just to accentuate the point. He gets up. 2 knockdowns for Gomez. And, I mean, that's criminally close. 114 to 109, nowhere near. 115, 107 seems a lot better for the winner. And still and new, not sure which one, but it's Emerson Gomez. WBC, WBA, WBO World Super Middleweight Champion. And that was nowhere near as entertaining of a fight as we thought it would be. That was a one-sided beatdown. And now it's Robert Bulacan versus Ben Moussaoui. Hardly think this is the first time this fight's happened. This is the third bite at the apple for Moussaoui at trying to end Bulacan's undefeated record. Only so much can be at stake in a fight like this, sort of inherently, because it's his third bite at the cherry. If he beats him, all the Bulacan fans are just going to go, well, it took him 3 tries. So what does Moussaoui really have to gain from a fight like this other than taking Bulacan 0 and making a lot of money? I mean, that's a lot of stuff. So I guess that's why he's doing the fight. Bulacan pouring on. Really good stuff from Bulacan there. And it's a round 1 win for Bulacan in the super lightweight world title. Let's go fastest. Ooh, a knockdown there from Moussaoui against the run of the fight. Bulacan's still winning and still the less damaged fighter, but it's more damage from Moussaoui. Bulacan taking the damage, though. Not seeming too affected by it. 55 to 70 on the damage rating, and there's a knockdown for Bulacan, as he's not too worried. Staying calm and composed. It's more big damage from Moussaoui, but Bulacan still green on that TKO meter. Still ahead in damage and still ahead in the fight. Calm and composed. Yeah, Bulacan is a pro. That was a professional round. 26. Whooped Moussaoui all around the ring. That's one of those rounds they're going to put in the highlight tapes. That's like some of those Pacquiao rounds against De La Hoya. Just a one-sided beatdown, and there's another one. Bulacan proving his point. We get it. We get it. Robert Bulacan. It's another one where it's a bit of a narrow card right there. I don't know about those. Pretty actually spread out decisions there. 112, 109, 115, 108, and 115, 107. I thought it was 115, 110. Never mind. So one of the judges had it closer. I disagree. Bulacan absolutely bossed that fight. And he's 22-0. Castro versus Daochuai. Man, Daochuai coming back to try to take out Castro. Wow, wow, wow. He didn't lose his belt to Castro. He lost his belt to Nquane. He's never fought Castro. So you know what, man? Let's do it. He lost to Fred Morales. Whoops. Did I do that? Juan Armando Moran and then Michi Sanchez. So Daochuai definitely still a top-ranked contender. And that is honestly a bit of a legendary fight there. Bit of a big deal there in the super flyweight division. Castro versus Daochuai. Sure, a lot of people have made this fight in hypothetical over the years, talking about the all-time great super flyweights. Well, now, Martin Castro can prove he is perhaps the greatest of them all. Round 1. Fight. Great first round by Castro, doing heavy damage. Castro continuing to pile on. And there it is, Martin Castro. 23-0, stand up. Daochuai with absolutely nothing to say. And all those hypotheticals can get thrown right in the blender. They never meant all that much anyway. We all knew it was Martin Castro. The real opposition for Martin Castro is here in our stable with Fred Morales, who's fighting right now. So let us get to that. Lots of fights tonight. We've talked about this card already, however. Edwards versus Jimenez should be a good one. Edwards versus Olay also should be a good one. Morales might be a little bit easy of a fight against Palacios, hopefully. It's easy. And then Fitch versus Mai in the main event should be a pick-me-up for Fitch, although it's a high IQ fighter in Mai. And Robert Philippone, who we are very impressed with out of Chicago. Fighting another fighter from Chicago, so a little added realism. Philippone wins round 1, wins round 2. These 6-round heavyweight fights can be a little dangerous, but no problem for Robert Philippone. Raymond Pena at 16-0 against Impili. Pena versus Pili. Can he keep that undefeated record? As we were talking recently about how Pena has just done it a little low key, and there's a knockdown on go to the body. We're going to cover up here, try to not take too much damage. He lands 7 punches, and then we counter punch KO him. Raymond Pena, 17-0. Turning into a force in the lightweight division. Speaking of forces, it's Frankie the Force Edwards. Frankie Psycho Edwards here against Mario Abel Jimenez. A real tough Mexican opponent. Let's put this thing on fast. I got a sense this is going to be a war. Frankie Edwards likes these high action fights, man. Frankie Edwards is an entertainer. And just as I say that, it's a little low volume. It's not criminally low volume. We do enable Jimenez to steal round 1, which I do not love. And there's Edwards. Edwards starts to do work now. And doing damage to Jimenez here in round 2. Jimenez is going to have to find a solution. Find some volume or cover up. Connecting twice. Edwards lands a big one back. And that's some serious damage there on Jimenez. Edwards flexing his muscles there. Big power shots in that round. And we're going to pile on pressure. And it's a good start to the round. Immediately putting more damage on Jimenez, who's in a lot of trouble. We got a lot of time to finish this. Fire truck. We only need 6 minutes. 6 minutes? I'm distracted by the siren. And so is Frankie Edwards, who manages to not finish that. Wow. We put him right up against getting stopped. Had about 2 minutes to finish the round. A fire truck came by my apartment and blared its siren outside my window. It distracted Frankie Edwards. When I become the biggest boxing manager YouTuber of all time and make $1 billion and move out to the country, we won't have to worry about that anymore. And Edwards, speaking of moving out to the country and making $1 billion, Edwards just got a fat paycheck right there for knocking out Abel Jimenez. He recovers from the devastating fire truck siren to win in round 4. And Jose Edwards now versus Christian Olay. I should have watched this one on fastest. This is not a fast sort of fight. I think this should be an easy one for Edwards. We'll slow it down if he gets in trouble. But Edwards has been fantastic so far in his career, despite that one narrow loss that I don't even know if he lost it. And Edwards... Oh, we didn't put it on fastest. I put it on pile on pressure, but I didn't put it on fastest. So enjoy watching Jose Edwards pile on pressure here. Imagine already, it's crazy that I'm making this hypothetical now. Who knows what we'll be looking back at in the future. But Jose Edwards with a... Imagine Jose Edwards versus Tony Ali in the future with how good Tony Ali is. How special Tony Ali could be. Them fighting up at the top of the light heavyweight division. It's like, yeah, Ali is a cruiserweight right now, but if he loses a single fight, I'm putting him at light heavyweight. He's 5'11". He's going to run into size issues. Edwards. Even round there, but then he gets back and gets the lead on damage and energy there in round 5. Round 6, we're going to go to the body, and we drain all of his energy. Natural style for Edwards here. And now let's pile on pressure and see if we can put a stop to this fight here in round 8. And we do. The winner by technical knockout, Jose Edwards of Fairhaven, Connecticut, USA. And the chief supporting bout, Fred Morales versus Charo Palacios. Hopefully it's not too much of a challenge for Mr. Fred, for Florida man. And he gets knocked down. Not too damaged. It was a flash knockdown. Not good in the first round, though. Morales has gotten knocked down before. And now there's some big damage in round 2. Morales taking the reins. Round 3, we pile on and get the stoppage. And it's just easy work after easy work after easy work for Florida man Fred. 24-0. Where is my title shot? Andy Fitch versus Mai. Let's see if Fitch can get a quick stop here, or if he gets dragged into a tough fight. He gets dragged into a tough fight. Mai knocks him down. It's a really bad round 2. We're at 48% energy. And Mai chases the finish, and that's a bad loss for Andy Fitch. That is not good. That is not a very good fighter to be knocking us out. No chin, no on the canvas. And Andy Fitch just gets kind of walloped by him, and That low takes punishment, man. I don't know. Andy Fitch. That may be a bit of a sad end to the Andy Fitch tale here. I don't know. One of the first legends of the save, but that Joe Hoon fight may have been a step too far. It may have proved to be a big mistake. He's still got his North American title that he can defend, hopefully, against some top-ranked guys. But this losing streak has not made a good impression of him here, especially getting knocked out here at a lower weight. One more show now. Flores versus Abel Cash. A lot of good fighters fighting tonight. Gervonta Williams, Anthony Rios. Let me take my headphones off real quick, guys. Williams, Max Rice, Randy Dale, and David Flores. So lots of action tonight at the Hard Rock Hollywood in Florida. Tony Ali, rough start to the round, but he comes back and dominates the latter half of the round. Ali continuing to move forward. He's almost got this guy down to the end of his energy. Oh, and the fight's over, but we get a unanimous decision win. Okay. To Tony Ali, it's his first career fight that he doesn't win by knockout. A little 6-rounder snuck up on me there. That's dangerous, but we don't lose. Salinas versus Casago. This should be very easy for Salinas. Round 1 TKO, just as we set it up. Soto versus Early. Let's see how long this one goes. Early, decent first round. Soto. There's a good round by Soto. Let's go to the body. Yeah, there we go. We go to the body and knock out Andy Early. Manuel Soto up to 9-0. Anthony Rios versus Alexis Ruiz. It's another high-level fight in the cruiserweight division for Anthony Rios. Still under the radar, and it's another round 1 TKO. What does this man have to do? What does the Bridgeport Bomber have to do to prove to you that he deserves a shot in the cruiserweight division, man? Gervonta Williams. Gervonta Soul Crusher Williams. Gervonta Universe Destroyer Williams. Gervonta Cthulhu Williams. Gervonta Yog-Sothoth Williams. Gervonta Ancient God Necronomicon wielding Demon of Mephistopheles Gervonta Williams. This guy is an absolute nightmare. Max Rice versus Michi Sanchez. Can Max Rice get a statement win against the gatekeeper of this super flyweight division, Michi Sanchez? Max Rice needs to prove that he's legit. We just took some damage, so I'm going to do the kamikaze method and go to the body. And we lose. Wow, who would have known that the kamikaze method wouldn't have worked as a dangerous Michi Sanchez? I feel like we fumbled that fight. Unfortunately, Max Rice. But you know what? Honestly, Max Rice doesn't belong as a contender. Max Rice is a grinder. Max Rice is the grit. He's the soul of the division. AKA, he loses sometimes. He loses sometimes, and it's okay. He only has 6,000 fans, and those are all some real MFs. That's the truth. Those people all understand the heart and soul of the sport of boxing. Randy Dale versus Andric Ontiveros. Even. And there you go, Randy Dale with a win over Ontiveros. And David Flores versus Abel Cash in the main event of the evening. Even first round. Good second round for Cash. Good third round for Flores. I don't know if I'm going to pile on here. David Flores usually fights pretty well in natural style. Because, you know, he's good and stuff. Not going to go to the body now. There's a good round. Now we're going to go to the body. Because we're the less damaged fighter. We learn our lessons. And we get damage there going to the body. We keep the energy even. Back to natural style. And we're going to pile on pressure here. To try to get the finish after a good round 9. The more energetic fighter, David Flores, he does pile on pressure there, and he gets a unanimous decision win. David Flores up to 23-7-1, an impressive win over 15-1 Abel Cash, a very, pun intended, able fighter. And so your eyes are not deceiving you. It's a couple big fights on the top of this card. Fred Morales versus Yami Daochuai, who we just saw lose a fight to Martin Castro. Well, he's going to go down to the second best guy in the division, Florida man Fred Morales. And now Gabriel McCreary is going to take on Rafael Hartman. We had a Michael Carl rematch for Gabriel McCreary, but it wasn't for a belt. So I just decided against that. I don't want McCreary, who's currently in the ascendancy, to lose to a currently descending Michael Carl. Maybe one day that fight will make more sense. Maybe when McCreary is champion, if he is champion, maybe one day that fight will come to be that second fight against Carl for McCreary. But now it's way too big of a risk. I'd rather take on an easy ranked opponent here in Rafael Hartman, easy being a relative term. He is a 6-foot tall fighter with an 80-inch reach who's ranked by just about everybody, but we have tools on him, and that's very important. Brian Mitchell hoping to get another easy win. Kareem Ramos, who set him up against Ling here. Ling, I think we've had a fight against Ling before. I'm not sure with which fighter, but he also fought Michael Carl. Speaking of Michael Carl. One of Michael Carl's most famous opponents here to fight Kareem Ramos. Grant versus Perez. That should be an easy one. Dale against a ranked opponent here in Mitchell Gonsalves. So hopefully it's a good ranked win for Mitchell. For Dale. Not a ranked win for Mitchell Gonsalves. Hopefully not. Hopefully I didn't just jinx that. And Javante Williams against the high IQ fighter in Blaise Camazelli, who basically doesn't do anything else good except be smart. Maybe he should go back to college instead of being a boxer. Yeah, so there's a clog in the middleweight division right now that's keeping Tony Seals from a title shot. We can fight Badu Cody again. We can fight Zhang. There's some tough fights here for Cody, but essentially the reason that he doesn't have a title shot is that let's look at the middleweight division. Andrew Smith has one belt. He's lined up with a rematch against Champion, and Palacios realistically would have a rematch as well against Bill Donnelly. Unless Bill Donnelly changed weights or something. He didn't. So, yeah, that fight's going to get rematched, and there's basically no room for Tony Seals, even as the #1 contender by absolutely everybody, to get any kind of title shot in this division. It just continues to be a struggle for Tony Seals, and I'm at the point where I kind of just want to book him fights against nobodies, but we'll see what I cook up. Manganda's ranked 17th. I don't know how impressed anyone's going to be with that, but you know what? It's a fight. It's a bit of a gimme, but it's a fight. Yeah, I feel like the best I can do is Manganda because we'll actually win it, so we're going to create that show. It's not the best possible fight. Maybe they'll just keep dodging us, and we're just extending our misery even more. They're not like, oh, not impressive enough. You should have fought Badu Cody again. But, like, I'm sorry. I just can't do it. He's proved more than enough to that he deserves a title shot. All right, so another show booked. Tony Seals. We kind of took an easy contender here. There were a bunch of big fights for Seals that I just talked about. We didn't decide to do any of those. We took him. Edwards versus Santiago Mendez, who's been a guy that we've beaten in the past. It's a rematch, actually, of a fight that went to decision. But the only other choices for Frankie Edwards were guys who were absolutely like former championship contenders who were going to knock him out. And I'd rather just keep him safe for now. Pena versus Mendeville. I could have made a more entertaining fight with Edwards, but I didn't do it. Soto versus Mwanza. Williams versus Ungidos. Hopefully this isn't a tough fight for Williams. And then there's the rest of the card. So. And there you go. Palacios and Donnelly are going to rematch. So like I said, there is no real title shot for Tony Seals right now. Ray versus Ibarra. Have these two matched up before? Has Ibarra tried to claim this title in the past? No, this is the first title shot. He has fought Danny Snow. He got knocked out in round 4 by Danny Snow. So this should be easy work for James Ray to get up to 46-0. Is there a historic upset on the cards? James Ray looking fantastic so far, as always. And there's a round 3 TKO. James Ray is the best fighter on the planet. His 30th professional knockout, 46th consecutive professional win. What a campaign for James Ray in the ring. Thomas looking for his 50th win here at super flyweight. But Takuya piling on punches here early in the fight. Thomas, a good round 4, maybe his first good round of the fight. And Takuya heading into round 6 ahead. But Thomas showing off the power that got him those 49 wins and 39 KOs. A knockdown of Takuya here in round 6. And how can Takuya recover? He can. Big round 7 for Takuya. The last of Thomas's energy goes in round 8. And Takuya now ahead in the fight. Ahead on punches. And ahead on energy. And there's a good round 11. And a round 10 and a round 11 maybe stolen by Thomas. This is an incredibly even fight. Will the judges give Thomas the benefit of the doubt for his 50th professional win in a fight where he is the only knockdown? Let us see. It's a big last round for Takuya, and no, they are not. That's a pretty wide unanimous decision win for Tsubasa Takuya, and I mean, I just realized why. Power punches are power punches. 24-8. Knockdowns are cool, but that 24 power punches and that punch discrepancy. Takuya had a lot of points. That fight probably looked like an ass whooping, and it won Takuya that fight. All right, title fight. Undefeated Gomez versus Jamini Neves. Jamaine Neves. It's probably Jamaine. Alberto Gomez versus Jamaine Neves, who is, I believe, Scottish. Okay. 8 losses. Oh, and he's already lost to Gomez, interestingly enough. He's fought for the title plenty of times and never... Oh, no, he has come out on top, so he's a former champion. So this is a pretty high-profile fight. This would be a big career booster for John May Neves, who, he's a champ. I'm pretty sure he's got a fan base. So let's see if he can prove himself here against Gomez. Quite possibly the best in the world. I believe he is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter. I would take James Ray or Yusupov. And this is a pretty easy win here for Gomez. That's why I'm not commentating. He's got a big lead, just dominating the fight. He's won basically every round. If this goes to decision, I mean, props to Neves. Oh, no, it's TKO with 18 seconds left. Just couldn't quite make the bell. And Gomez gets a finish, adds a finish to the record. Yeah, see, it's either Ray or Yusupov who's #1 pound for pound. But, I mean, Gomez is obviously impressive. Mario Ortiz versus Takahashi Nakajima for the super bantamweight titles. Has Nakajima fought for a title before? No. He's gotten knocked out in the first round quite a bit for a guy who's about to fight for a world title. I think all of his losses are round 1 KOs, but Mario Ortiz seems perfectly capable of getting round 1 KO'd himself. He has a pretty weak chin, and he has been round 1 KO'd. So these guys have lost a lot for two guys fighting for a super bantamweight world title. Who currently holds it? WBO is held by Nakajima, and Mario Ortiz holds the WBA. So this is actually a unification bout. I see. Nakajima beat Jordan Garvey. He knocked out Jordan Garvey, and now he's trying to make out with another belt after that big upset. And Mario Ortiz. Wait, when did he get a... Oh, he doesn't have a belt. I see. Oh, I guess Garvey... I don't know what happened. How did he get this belt then? Oh, I see. Soar moved to featherweight. Okay. So, Soar, one of the best fighters in the game. I've never tried to pronounce his name beyond Soar. Soar Singrunthan. Senenmuang Soar Singrunthan. We just call him Soar. After that trilogy against Sonny Bakar, where he won 2 of 3, same deal against Jordan Garvey, 2 of 3. He's moved up to featherweight. So, very, very small for a featherweight. Let's see if he can do it. 5'3". That's a pretty small featherweight. But let's see what he has in him, and we're scrapping here for some of his vacant super bantamweight titles. It makes me wish that I had a super bantamweight contender. Keenan DeRocha is in that weight class, but he's never quite hit top-level contender status, although that isn't really his level. Because it looks like Mario Ortiz is going to defend here, and valiant effort there from Nakajima, who's won a couple rounds in a row. Nakajima piling it on. That's a close fight. That's a close fight. They call it a draw. Wow. No, not a draw. It's a majority decision for Mario Ortiz, and that's fair. I think I had him sort of winning that fight. He was really in every round, right? He started the fight well. Lost round 2, but took 3, 4, and 5. And then every round except for 7 was kind of close for him, and then he just started winning rounds again. So I think Ortiz was well in control of that fight. Nakajima might have put on an impressive performance for an undersized fighter, for the smaller fighter, but a draw is a little unreasonable. He did provide volume and pretty even on punch stats, so yeah, draw, sure. And now it's time for a big event. Fred Morales versus Mai Daochuai. This is the biggest fight of Morales' career so far. Start off with Gervonta Williams. Gervonta Universe Eater Williams. Gervonta Civilization Annihilator Williams. Okay, that's not good. He's not annihilating civilizations that way. We're going to cover up. We're covering up against a... What is happening? We're covering up against a 4-6 fighter right now with Gervonta Williams. Am I hallucinating? He's like almost out. He's going to get knocked out like this. Okay. We're going to stay natural style. Okay, and now we're going to pile on. We're safe for now. But I don't know if we won this fight. We might be ahead on the cards. Wow. Okay. TKO. Okay, good job, Gervonta. We got him tired. He finished it off. Gervonta Williams eats another soul. It took a little effort. Blaze Kemazelli likes punching. For a guy with not a very good record, he sure likes to throw punches. For a heavyweight with not a very good record. That was not the walkover I wanted it to be. Randy Dale. Randy Dale is good. I'm tired of the Randy Dale slander. I know he's got 5 losses. This man can fight. Look at this. Pile on, Randy. Knock down. Keep piling on. Not so good. Go to the body. Punch him in the gut. There we go. Natural style. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Nice. Good job, Dale. Rigoberto Grant versus Perez. Ooh! Rigoberto Grant is a problem. Rigoberto Grant is dangerous. Rigoberto Grant is a little bit of a problem. Man, oh man. 9-0 for Rigoberto Grant. Just walks up to the man and decks him in the face. Armani Perez did not have much of a shot there. How about Rigoberto Grant? Ramos needs to cover up and chill. He's losing this fight. There's a knockdown. Wow. Crazy. We were losing this fight. Ling just piling up round after round. And then Ramos gets a knockdown there on cover up in round 8. And it's a good round for Ramos. Again on cover up. We're going to pile on pressure now. Try to transition to offense. And we get the finish. That was a crazy, exciting fight. Very even. Even a lot of the rounds that I didn't commentate much because we were losing these rounds by just a little bit. Right? We were still in the fight. I was waiting for Ramos to start taking it to Ling, and it didn't really happen. We got this big round 6 from Ling, and then a big round 7. And then Ramos did good work in round 8, landed a lot of power punches, started to damage Ling, and then got the finish in round 9. Basically lied in wait for Ling to bottom out on energy. And Brian Mitchell looking to continue his so far perfect career. And I mean, what else do you want, man? What else do you want to say? The brutalizer, Brian Mitchell. The East Bethel Bomber. There you go. That's a lot better. The East Bethel Bomber, Brian Mitchell. You want one punch knockout power? He's like, I'm throwing one punch in this fight. He walked up to him, sized him up, and threw one punch with a big, giant, red, puffy boxing glove on and knocked this man out unconscious. This man has 24 professional fights, 25 now, and 10 losses now. And Brian Mitchell, will he continue his perfect career in the ring? He's a welterweight. He's not even a heavyweight. What is happening? Brian Mitchell. We say we got something special a lot. But like, hello, Brian Mitchell. That is what 20 punching accuracy can do for you. I want this guy's takes punishment up. I want Brian Mitchell I want Brian Mitchell to go as far as he can go, and that seems pretty far. Gabriel McCreary versus Rafael Hartman for the welterweight championship of North America. Bad first round. McCreary gets absolutely crushed by Hartman. We need to jab and move. There we go. Good job. Now cover up. I don't want you taking damage. Knockdown. We are insanely damaged. Let's go to natural style. It's a crazy round. This is a crazy fight. We're going to go on fast. This is for a title. McCreary starting off the round good. He's got a little more energy, but he's done. I mean, look at the punch difference, though. It's Hartman landing far more. We can never be surprised in this fight if Hartman just starts to land combinations and we go down big in rounds. McCreary's ahead in this round, however. That's a win for McCreary, if narrowly. If there was a time to go to the body in the fight, it would be now. We aren't as damaged as we have been. Hopefully going into his range isn't too much of a mistake. He has been landing in the fight, and he's the bigger man. But that's more the reason to go to the body. We need to cut his energy off. And McCreary doing a good job here. Landing punches into the gut, no big power punches to the chin at all. And that could definitely be a Hartman round, but we do tire him out. And we're going to jab and move on the slightly more tired fighter. That worked earlier. Hopefully he doesn't find us with big shots. I feel like you get hit with big shots sometimes on jab and move. That's a big shot, but it comes from McCreary. Will Hartman get up? He does get up with the count of 5. But that's going to be big for the scoring. We're down big on punches, so getting a knockdown like that is important. As Hartman, going out in a shield here in round 7, may even lead the round on punches and will, Interesting to see how they score that round with the knockdown. I hope they score it for us. We'll sit on natural style for 1 round. Now that Hartman is empty. Not going to try to go forward too much. But McCreary is going to go forward too much. He's going to keep piling it on even if I don't tell him to. Hartman now standing up and counterpunching. Hartman now taking the lead of the round. He's always capable of this. He's a smart fighter. But McCreary with the big shots at the end. And unless they really value ring control a little too much, this is an interesting fight to score. Because Hartman's ahead in power punches. Of course, scoring punches by a mile. And ring control easily. But we have knockdowns. Brother, we have 2 knockdowns. And we are going to be piling on pressure in this round. And we're just going to see. This could be the last round of this fight. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised if Hartman gets the KO as we try to charge in. He's been damaging us all fight. And there we go. Big shots by McCreary. He's chasing the finish, and the ref stops it. A big shot from McCreary. With blood streaming from his nose. He gets a big shot in on Rafael Hartman. And his legs get all wobbly, and the ref doesn't like what he sees. And as they're slammed up against the ropes, the ref steps in between them and stops the fight. And Gabriel McCreary is the new North American welterweight champion. He may have already been. I think he already was. Whatever. New and still. We have the belt, man. That's what matters. And it's Fred Morales versus Yami Daochuai. Yami Daochuai, a decorated veteran. A decorated veteran, to say the very least. His skills may have atrophied a bit. Oh, he's already fought Fred Morales. I didn't know they'd already fought each other. I kind of thought this was the first time they'd fought. Anyway. Well, I guess it's a rematch. We already beat him. But you know what? He is a very respected former champion. Defending former champion many, many times, many classic fights. Lost his title to Nkwane. And now he's going to get another crack at Florida man Fred Morales, who is a very special fighter. We're going to watch this on fastest because I have a feeling that this might not go too long. We just got knocked down and struggled to our feet at the count of 9. Fred Morales was 1 second away from losing his undefeated record. And now we take some damage there. Fred, buddy. You want to jab and move for me? As Yimi Daochuai has Fred Morales in some danger. And there's a knockdown for Fred. Okay, we're watching this on fast. This fight's crazy. A knockdown for Fred. 26-23. They're both damaged. These are some of the direst straits, the most dire straits Fred Morales has been in during his career, and it's a good start to round 6. Daochuai always capable of landing those power punches, but will they land like they did earlier in the fight? It seems like Morales' shots are landing with more effectiveness at this point. But here comes Daochuai with shots. Oh, it's another knockdown for Fred. His second knockdown. Will Daochuai get up? He is up at the count of 5. It's more shots. Can Morales get the finish here in center ring? Daochuai with a nice combination to end a round that will definitely be scored in favor of the Florida man Fred Morales, who is now chasing a finish in round 7. And this is a dangerous spot for Daochuai to be. He's got 2 minutes. He's up against the ropes. This doesn't look good. The ref looking real close. Can Morales finish it? 23 seconds, he can. It's one last combination, and Fred Morales from 1 second away from losing his undefeated record to 25-0 with 24 knockouts. That is a record that will put anybody on notice. Got a good-looking box rec page, that's for sure. Have Yusupov and Efrain Russell fought before? No, this is Efrain Russell's first title shot. We might have tried to sign Efrain Russell when he was an amateur, but he probably didn't want to sign for us because he's too good. And of course, we get at somehow that guy gets a welterweight title shot and we don't. That pisses me off. Brandon Foley from New York with 11 losses. I have no clue how this dude, he lost to Muratov. I guess he fights a lot of good fighters. He's got a really good, he's fought everybody. He's fought pretty much everybody in the division. He's fought Michael Moon, Trofimov, Efrain Rice, Johnny Donovan, Mike McKiernan, Charles DeLuke, Yamaguchi, Chen, Muratov. He's fought everyone. So I guess on that merit, he deserves a title shot. But I don't like that there's a fighter from New York fighting for a belt when, like, our only title shots are just people cherry picking and poor Andy Fitch again. Like, he did anything to you other than lose to Johnny Donovan and Hoon and Joe Hoon. Yusupov versus Ephraim Russell in his first title shot. And for some reason, we're not on fastest. Yusupov getting closer to 50-0. Again, I never had, there was not, I never had, I never had a 50-0 fighter in my first Boxing Manager save that I played. But I've also never seen one in outside of my own promotion in that game. So, Yusupov is now 3 fights away from being 50-0. That was a very easy win there for Soto. Yusupov, who continues to pile up the victories. Interesting lightweight title here. Giovanni Esquivel, who won the title off Tetsuya Amagasa against Roy Niilawila, who won it off Gerbic. So a unification fight in the lightweight division between two essentially minor champions. So let's see who can definitely increase their clout here in the lightweight division with 2 belts. Niilawila is probably the slightly better fighter, and the guy I would be more intrigued to see as a 2-belt champion, to see who he could defend against, I'm sure, a stacked rank of lightweight contenders. But it's Niilawila on the back foot, and he's going to stay that way. It's Giovanni Esquivel who gets the finish. Pretty much dominated the fight. Really outpunched and outlanded in pretty much every round. Don't really know what backs that up on the attributes. It looks like Niilawila is a better fighter, but Esquivel with the win. Mercado versus Martinez. This is a good one. Martinez, the WBC champion. Jairo Mercado, the IBF champion and the favorite, won his belt off of Ever Galvin. Actually, sorry, he was the champion at Super Bantam, and then he moved up to who won the championship off Ever Galvin, beating Lucas Jevons first, actually, and then moved up to Super Bantamweight. So now attempting to become, well, he is a Super Bantamweight champion, attempting to unify as Super Bantamweight champion, and Jairo Mercado. Sorry, and now I'm looking at Martinez, who has always been at Super Bantamweight. Oh, no, he moved up too. All right, let's go. Mercado versus Martinez. And Mercado gets the win there. That's not surprising. He was the favorite. And he becomes a unified lightweight champion. Speaking of unified lightweight champion, Champ Magazine and WBO. And I kind of agree with Champ Magazine. I think this is a better lightweight title fight. Takeshi Imai versus Harvey Davis of London, England. Takeshi Imai we've watched before. Special fighter, fun fighter. Great classic fight against Joseph Manigo at super featherweight. Now he's moved up to lightweight. He secured a title against Charles Mawale, and now he is fighting to unify his WBO with the Ring Magazine belt. The rarest belt in boxing against Harvey Davis, who is one hell of a puncher out of England. Always been. Sorry, this is his first fight at lightweight, actually. He moved up to lightweight for this fight. So this is a fun one. Oh, and he just beat Roman Salapi. Okay. Did he? Yes, he did. He beat Ramon Salapi. That was his last one. Very impressive. Ramon Salapi fallen off a bit since his championship days, though. Understandably, lost quite a few fights. So that's not quite the win it used to be. Him and Radzhabov just fought a dad banger, a boomer banger. These two dudes, just veterans of the division going at it. Crazy. Incredibly gifted veteran fighters who've had a lot of tough luck losses over their day. I bet that was a banger. Imai versus Davis here, round 1. This is probably going to be a banger, too. Oh, baby. I am tempted to go on fast for this already. Imai ahead. Imai gets into a big lead, and then Davis fights back. Slow round 4. And Davis steps up and one-punch KOs Takeshi Imai. Pop, pop. Bang, bang, 1-2. Davis puts Imai on the canvas, and the crowd in the Tokyo Dome in a stunned silence. What a shot by Harvey Davis. How's that Ring Magazine belt feel around your waist, Harvey? That was a bomb. Oh, man. Takeshi Imai is going to be feeling that one. His second career loss. How you like those for losses? Harvey Davis and Joseph Manigo. Nothing to be ashamed of, but he still got a track record. Yeah, that was the better fight. That was by far the better lightweight fight of the day. I was correct about that. Dignity Health Sports Park, the home of the save. The only place in the world that matters. Salinas versus Chang'an. I'm not pronouncing any more of the name. If he keeps going after that, I'm just gonna go Chang'an. He doesn't like me making fun of his name. He beat up on my fighter there in the first round. Whoa. Calm down, bro. Yair, you gotta stay undefeated here, man. You're good. You're a good fighter. You're from New York. You gotta be undefeated. You can't be losing to the 5-16 guy from Dar es Salaam. That's Tanzania, right? Okay. Salinas. And it's Robert. I'm not Filipino Filipone versus Billy Roy. This should be an easy one. That guy has a loud car engine. Did you know that? Isn't that impressive? Filipone gets the finish in round 3. Oscar Garcia versus Yorkie Leathman. Yorkie Leatham, rather. Garcia continuing to roll. Leatham with big shots. Garcia, one more round. Yes, sir. And Oscar Garcia. That was a pretty easy win there over Yorkie Leathman. Wire to wire. Really in control of the fight there. Lamont Williams, a smart fighter, and Jose Luis Anguitos awaits. Can Lamont Williams get his 20th professional win? Well, a knockdown will help, but he took some damage in the round. 21 punches from Anguitos. And that's another high-volume round from Anguitos. Anguitos is just throwing punches. It's almost like he's a boxer or something. He's punching us over and over and over again. Wow. Anguitos continuing the volume, and then we just get sick of it. Lamont Williams is like, no, I'm not going to let you punch me. I'm getting my 20th professional win. I'm going to step back and throw a right cross and knock you out. Lamont Williams is a 20-win professional fighter, 20-4. If you flip that, he would be 420. Lol. Manuel Soto versus Jonas Mwanza. Soto looking for his 10th consecutive win to start the old professional career. Boring first round. Gets walloped in the second round. Starts to come into the fight in the third. Pours on pressure in the fourth. We've seen this movie before. Manuel Soto just had to find his distance. And your boy is 10-0. Yeah, he's big. He might have to move up to heavyweight. If he struggles at all, that move up to heavyweight's going to be on the cards. Raymond Pena looking to defend his undefeated record at lightweight against Fernando Mendival, who I feel like we've fought against before. Maybe not with Pena. And Pena's going to get the finish here in all likelihood, or at 100%. I'm just going to chase it down here for a couple rounds. We don't get it. We take a little damage. We'll go back to natural style. And then we get the knockout. Pena, 18-0. Frankie Edwards versus Santiago Mendez. This should be a good one. I feel like this is a rematch. I feel like this is a rematch. Let me double check that here. Edwards v. Mendez. I feel like these guys have fought before. Yes, they have. It was a unanimous decision. Win for Frankie the Psycho Edwards. And let's see if history repeats itself. Frankie. Ooh, bad round. Good round for Frankie. I almost said bad round for Frankie. It was 22 punches from Mendez, who's throwing all the volume, but Frankie with all the power. Frankie with all the power back the other way. You can throw as much volume as you want at me. I'm going to throw bombs back at you. And there you go. See, it works. He got outpunched. It's basically a completely even fight. He's just a psycho. He's a psychopath, so it works. Because he's Frankie the Psycho Edwards from New York, United States. Tony Seals versus Matendere Manganda. This feels like it should be a walkover for Seals. Hopefully I didn't speak too soon. Nice second round. He's taking a little damage, though. And we get the TKO. Same kind of thing. Just a crazy alley cat brawl there. And Tony Seals comes out in front. Not surprisingly. Always was going to be the better puncher in that fight. Manganda's identical ring IQ and 1 point better punch accuracy can only take him so far. And for two fighters with good stamina, that fight was sure. They used all that stamina pretty quick. All right, Rios versus Rosario from Bridgeport, Rios' hometown. We got Ricardo Cotrill coming off a win on the undercard as well here against Oscar Diaz, a tougher test for him this time. Although Cotrill is absolutely no stranger to a test in the heavyweight division. Max Rice coming off a loss, I believe, here against Miguel Mercado. We'll go to the body here in round 3 after a good first 2 rounds, and we'll get the stoppage. Max Rice with his 23rd professional win. Dimash Sarnoy at 10-5. A disappointing career for Dimash Sarnoy so far, whose chin is pretty much already cracked. And it's not looking good. Let's jab and move. We really do have to lean on the reach here for Sarnoy, and it works there. He doesn't really seem that able to find our range. And Sarnoy gets a KO. So there we go. You know what? I'm going to let him fight out his contract. He's got 4 more fights. Let's see how much he can impress me. And Brandon Ramos with a really big test here. I hate that this is 6 rounds against Brandon and Guinez. These are both really good prospects. Let's watch this on fast. And it's a knockdown there for Ramos here in round 4. It's been a slow fight in terms of volume, but Ramos finally comes through with a big punch here in round 4. And we're going to pile on pressure and try to get the finish. I'm going to put it on fastest. This fight has been a lot slower than I thought it would. It hasn't been the kind of back alley brawl that we wanted. We lose the last round there, but it's a wide unanimous decision win for the still undefeated Brandon Ramos. His first non-knockout win of his career, though. Jesus Cardo versus Nigella. Look at Jesus Cardo go. Look at Jesus Cardo go. Round 3 KO for Jesus Cardo. Easy. Ricardo Cotrill against Oscar Diaz. This is a big one for Cotrill. We'll go on fast. Diaz with a big combo there, opening up a cut on Cotrill. Not good. Cotrill catching big shots there at the end of the first round. Diaz with quite a good amount of punch accuracy in his repertoire. And it's just not a lot of work from Cotrill here, man. I'm waiting. There we go. Cotrill finally with a little pressure, but this has been a very slow fight. This has been a slow fight so far. And Cotrill piles it on there at the end of the round to definitely take round 2 on the cards. Diaz. Very even round. We'll go fastest. This fight is boring me, to be perfectly honest with you guys. Cotrill finally doing some real serious power damage there. Let's do body shots here in round 6. More body work. Ooh, and it was a horrible round there from Cotrill. And then he gets a knockdown. He was down 13-0, and then we get a knockdown and start battering Diaz. And we get all of his energy down, and we get his knockout to 71%. We've got 4% of our energy left. Let's try to pile on, and it's a horrible round. This is going to be a hard fight to score, a seesaw fight, a back-and-forth fight. I'm going to go for broke. I'm going to put it on fast and go for broke because Cotrill is down in this fight. And we need him to initiate. He hasn't actually been bad when he has initiated. He's ahead on power punches. He's had some really good stretches of offense in this fight. I want to see more. Diaz landing better, though. Combination, no power punches in this round, though. I want to see Cotrill throw some. There we go. Cotrill with a nice combo to end the fight and one last shot. Tough fight to score. And it's going to be a narrow, very narrow, but impressive, tactful, clinical, unanimous decision win there for Ricardo Cotrill, who continues to do his thing. Yeah, man, he's a tactical heavyweight. That is what he is. He can really win a fight. That's a big fighter, too. 6'8" for Oscar Diaz. Big dude with accurate punching. And Cotrill handled business. That was a tough, tough fight. He gave away some rounds for sure. But he did enough. Or at least the judges thought so. And it's another big cruiserweight challenge here for Anthony Rios. Not the best record for Elijah Rosario, but how much longer can this division ignore Anthony Rios if he keeps winning? He doesn't win round 2 or round 3 here. Good round 4. Let us go to the body. And there, we knock a lot of his energy out. That's a really effective round of going to the body for Rios, and he's nearly got Rosario finished here. As we pile on pressure and finish the fight, and Anthony Rios with another win. And a really fun night of fights there, actually. Some boring fights, some fights with low volume, but really good results for us across the board. I have no problem with keeping it boring sometimes if we win. And we are just going to go straight to this. We are giving Eben Rodriguez a main event. It speaks to Eben Rodriguez's reach here. This man is 10-0, and he is selling out a 20,000-seat arena as the headliner. 10-0, only 10 fights into his professional career. He's selling out an arena. Speaks to how impressive his career performances have been so far. It's really been a privilege so far to watch Eben Rodriguez work, and he's going to get to perform in front of a full house tonight. Let's upgrade him real quick. We can't. Does he really need it that bad? He needs a little more ring IQ, I guess. Ring IQ can't hurt. And it's the prodigy, Tony Ali versus Jorge Canetti. What can Ali do? It's a good... Taking a little too much damage. I noticed that in a few of his previous fights, he takes a little too much damage, but he's all good there. Gets the knockout there in round 4. Darius Mitchell. Should be an easy fight here. First round knockdown. Does he get a second round knockout? No. We'll chase it in round 3, and we'll get it in round 3. Darius Mitchell. 17th win, 16th knockout. Ramiro Rodriguez, 11-1 against Terrence Bell. A fighter with a losing record. Let's see how quick Rodriguez can finish the job here. Not yet in round 4. We chase the finish. No, not yet. Come on, Rodriguez. We're still piling on pressure, and it's not working. Maybe it's just not to be. Maybe this is meant to be a decision here against Terrence Bell. Come on, pile on. There we go. And at last, Rodriguez was just chasing the finish. Poor Terrence Bell just took a battering there. So many punches and not able to find the mark and finish him off. And Ramirez finally able to add another KO to his record. That's how you like this. Both Andy Fitch and Adrian Castro were 25-6-1. Andy Fitch, another fight against a much larger fighter, a huge super welterweight in Adrian Castro at 6'1". And Andy Fitch is just tired of being a cherry pick for the champs. He's got a chance to actually win a fight here, he probably thinks. And yeah, it's a great first round. Take some damage in the second. Come on, Fitch. There's a knockdown in the third. We'll pile on pressure in the fourth. Nope. Nothing doing there. Fitch. Inconsistent in this fight. Some rounds he's a beast. Some rounds I don't know what I'm watching. We're definitely going to pile on pressure here with our 8%. Sigh. And we pile on pressure and it completely backfires. And now we might be behind in the fight. That's a big, important round right there. Round 8, that was big by Fitch. We put him on cover up and he did a really good job. Outlanding 14-3. Was he counter-punching or was he the aggressor? I don't know, but Castro didn't provide any volume. Castro's got all the ring control, which unfortunately really might help him on the scorecards. But he's pretty much out of energy. We're going to smother inside on the larger fighter here and try to drain the last of his energy. And it's a good round for Fitch. And I am going to go for broke here. Hey, first judge gives it to us. And all 3 judges score it for Andy Fitch, and that's a relief. I was afraid we weren't going to win that fight, but a lot of dominant rounds there by Fitch. Fitch was inconsistent in that fight, like I said. So still a little concerning for Fitch at super welterweight. But, you know, Fitch is somebody we did a weight change down on, and it worked at the start until he got to the championship level. And it doesn't seem like there's any more fights at the weight. And anyway, we would just be going back up to middleweight anyway, where he was too small, so... But it's a victory over a larger man there at this weight, so how much can I complain? Rico Hartman, is that a fighter we can upgrade? No. Rico Hartman to take on Jair Fonseca. This is just a war of a fight right now. Don't even know what to say. We're behind by a little bit. It's always jab and move with Hartman, given his reach. We're going to keep using that reach. Yes, sir. And now we can pile on pressure. And Hartman has turned this fight around from being behind on the punch stats. We'll settle for natural style in the last round, but just because we're ahead. And Rico Hartman sees the fight out and gets a unanimous decision win over Jair Fonseca to move to 13-1 at super middleweight in the headlining fight of the evening. Eben Rodriguez versus Omar Nava. Can he beat Omar Nava and hand Omar Nava his 10th defeat? And it's a first round KO. You didn't think Eben Rodriguez was special. What more do you want? Here comes E-Rod. Yes, sir. Gotta love you some Eben Rodriguez. And do we have a title fight next week? We do. We'll go one more week and then book some fights. Watch some title fights. Agapito Abreu versus Gonçalves. Agapito Abreu and Gonçalves very close here. Big round by Gonçalves. Agapito Abreu trying to keep that undefeated record. He's got 2 draws. There's probably a lot of people out there that want him to lose. Nobody likes a fighter with multiple draws. Oh, he's a fraud. Abreu trying to prove them all wrong. Man, this is a war. Tough fight to score, too. Let's take a look at it. We'll watch the last round on fast. Even first 2 rounds, 1 each. And then 2 big rounds by Gonçalves. A pretty competitive round 5. And then 2 pretty solid round wins there. Low volume rounds in 6 and 7 by Abreu, but those rounds count. Gonçalves stocks up a high volume round. Then it's a dominant round by Abreu, a dominant round by Gonçalves, and a high volume round win by Gonçalves. Gonçalves is winning a lot of these, as I'm saying, high volume rounds. 15-12 and shit like that. 22-12, 17-12, 19-11. Gonçalves winning a lot of those high volume rounds, but Abreu winning more rounds. It's a very hard fight to score. I would say that based on punch stats, they may have Gonçalves ahead. I think I may have Gonçalves ahead. So Abreu, at the very least, needs to win round 12 to keep his undefeated record at very well. If he comes back here at the end of this round, although it's not looking that likely, it's a good start to the round from Gonçalves, but if he comes back and evens this thing up, we could be in for a very controversial draw. That's the kind of feeling that I get here. It's going to be another draw for Abreu to keep that record undefeated, and he storms back in the last round. And will they call it a draw? No. Card 1 for Gonçalves, card 2 narrowly for Gonçalves. And they make the right choice. Nathan Gonçalves takes Junior Agapito Abreu's undefeated record and his WBC and IBF Cruiserweight World titles. And new. And this is an absolute tragedy. One of the worst moments of the save so far for sure. We lost Anthony Rios. He is now self-promoted and does not want to sign back with us. So he wins that last fight. But, I mean, you know what? It's borderline understandable. He can't get a dang title shot. Nobody will recognize him as a contender in this division. But if we had a title pedigree, he would definitely sign with us. So it's a shame. We're being made to pay for not having a title pedigree. This is starting to feel like we're getting done dirty here a little bit just as a promotion. Because we did a really good job finding Anthony Rios wins, and he's found a lot of money, but not a lot of fans, and not a lot of success, and not a lot of clout, and 0 title shots, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, hopefully one day we see Anthony Rios in a title shot. We have Rigoberto Grant as a hope at that division, and, of course, Tony Ali as well. So we're not dead at cruiserweight, and we're not dead for guys who may have a title shot one day. We still have McCreary, we still have Tony Seals, but Rios, maybe long-term, was our closest fight chance to having a champion in the immediate future, and he is out the door and does not want to re-sign with us. Hopefully, one day when we have a championship pedigree, we'll be able to re-sign him. But also, keep in mind, as the save moves on and we get to that championship pedigree level, I'm going to start signing fighters just out of the rankings if they don't have representation, right? I will do that if I see a fighter that I like enough, and especially if he's from the New York area, the local area, the East Coast of the United States, I will sign that championship level fighter to my promotion if he wants to sign with me. So that is not necessarily the end of Anthony Rios at the promotion. That's the important part. We can get him back one day, and I'm very hopeful that that will happen. Joaquin Allen versus Muhammad Rikule, also from Tanzania. Tanzania making some killer fighters. Joaquin Allen, a killer fighter, trying to go to 30-0. I am really disappointed about Anthony Rios. I don't know how I missed that. I really don't know how I missed his contract expiring. If I would have seen it at any point with a blue contract icon next to him, I would have re-signed it. If you're a big enough dweeb, you can go back into the video and look for if I ever missed it and make fun of me. I'm making fun of myself. Far from the first time that's happened in this game. I remember having like 65 fighters or something in my old save and just losing guys all the time, but it's a shame to lose one of our best hopes for a championship in the immediate future. Are there more title fights? Sarkozy versus Bolanos, that's only for one belt. Hoon versus Masso, again, it's this week. So Hoon versus Masso making the trilogy after that, after Hoon beat our guy. So many title fights, man. So many title fights. All right. So we're not going to do this one. We'll do Hoon versus Masso. You guys want to see this one. Joe Hoon, obviously, after beating Andy Fitch, is going to... It's not a trilogy. Just do a rematch with Luis Masso, which makes a lot of sense. I think Masso probably wanted a break after that defeat. Hoon taking on Fitch in the interim. Round 1 of this highly anticipated rematch goes to Joe Hoon, as does round 2. Hoon is a really good fighter. I mean, come on. It was almost unfair to Fitch, no? Knockdown there for Masso, but Hoon isn't damaged. Hoon's still doing fine. He takes damage in that round. He's still in there. He's now the more damaged fighter, though, Hoon, but he wins another round. He is taking big damage from Masso. Masso very resilient here, staying in the fight into the later rounds. That low volume in the early rounds may be benefiting Masso now. He's digging it out of his gas tank here. And it's another knockdown for Masso. How will they score this fight? Masso with 2 knockdowns. Did he do enough? No. By majority decision, it's Joe Hoon who does enough work in those early rounds, and especially in round 11, to negate the 2 knockdowns by Luis Masso. And Masso definitely deserves a third fight. I mean, beyond a shadow of a doubt, Masso deserves a third fight. That was a very good challenge there by Masso, especially given that last knockdown. He really went out on his shield and tried hard. And you really can't hold it against him there. Luis Rodriguez, world flyweight title holder. We've watched plenty. So many title defenses. 3 belts. He's the ring WBA IBF champion, defending against Yoshinori Arakawa, a very talented and qualified contender. Had a losing streak in 2027, but has rebounded the last couple of years. Only a decision loss to Angel Castro, other than that, winning out against quality ranked opposition. Should be a pretty easy defense, though, relatively, for Luis Castro. Arakawa, not a bad fighter, but... Sorry, for Luis Rodriguez. But Rodriguez should expect to win, and he does there in round 3. Took some damage in round 2, but comes back to secure the victory, and Luis Rodriguez is 23-0. And we are back to scheduling time. All right, so we scheduled some events. First, Tony Steele versus Henry Tafer. I was surprised these two hadn't fought. I was sure they'd crossed paths, but Henry Tafer, the European champion, going to take on the real deal. Still no title fight for Tony Steele. Just trying to keep him safe while he waits, really, essentially, at this point. Brian Mitchell, going to get another win, hopefully, against Albert Olivares. Even Rodriguez against Dean St. John. This might be a decent challenge here for Rodriguez. A good stamina and good ring IQ fighter. Rigoberto Grant versus Shakur Chapman. Nice fight here. Randy Dale with a challenge against Gerald Cruz. Randy Dale continuing to be an unheralded force at middleweight. Robert Philippone, an easy win there against Boyle. Ervin versus Sung Joon Lee. I say it like that hasn't happened yet. He could lose to a 3-18 fighter. I don't know. Ervin versus Jung Hoon Lee in a main event here. Jung Hoon Lee, a top-ranked super middleweight from Korea. Edwards versus Jose Hainsworth. American fighter with a very good right column. Raymond Pena. This might be the best fight of the night. Dangerous fight for the undefeated Pena against Khabib Ndomba. Garcia versus Jamel Webster. This might be the hardest fight in the career of Garcia, including the ones that he's lost. Lamont Williams, hopefully going to pick up another win there against Quintana, and Darius Mitchell rounding out the card against Estrada, another high ring IQ, high stamina guy. Manuel Soto with another headliner at the New York Sports Park against Katja Sithpajuk. I believe he may be the Asian champion. He's the #1 ranked light heavyweight contender in Asia. Kareem Ramos versus Chana Galaxy, an awesome name there, from Bangkok, Thailand. Edwards versus Julian Neri. This should be another Frankie Edwards banger against a seasoned veteran. Maybe the best fight on the card here. Ramiro Rodriguez versus Juan Aguilar at heavyweight. Jesus Cardo with the biggest challenge of his career so far against an experienced veteran. Well, experienced veteran, a good young fighter. 5-1-1 is not a veteran. In Mikey Truax. And then Brandon Ramos against Loris Martinez. I am still mad about Anthony Rios, by the way. We're going to sign Mark Martinez out of Clarenceux, Louisiana. A tough boxer puncher, a very small flyweight, probably the smallest fighter we have. Low intelligence, low takes punishment, but I don't know. There's just something about him. Maybe it's that 20 punch accuracy. I do like some good punch accuracy, some dedication, a dirty fighter. He might be fun. It might be fun to have a guy. I don't know if we have anybody in the flyweight division at all, so we'll sign Mark Martinez and continue on scouting. And here we go, Derek Mitchell from North Gates, New York. I don't know where that is. That's a cool town name. I'm not actually sure where that is in New York. Poor defense, that's about it. He's pretty great everywhere else. 21 years old. A tough brawler at heavyweight. Does he want to sign? He does. Nice. It's another promising young heavyweight there in Derek Mitchell. Maybe not quite at the level of some of our guys like Javonna Williams, but man, he can fight. He can fight a bit. And here's Derek Flores from Iron Decoy, New York. He might not win much. He's got a lot of flaws in his game. Low ring IQ, low chin, low stamina. But he's from New York. He's a welterweight. I want to give him a shot. We'll give him a 3-fight deal. He's just fun. Let's see what he can do. Todd Lopez from Uchalin, Pennsylvania. This guy is an insane bantamweight. If this guy signs with us, I'm going to do a backflip. Oh, my goodness. Well, we've got a bantamweight contender. He's only 1-0. But if that guy doesn't turn into a contender, I don't know who will. We have a lot of very exciting prospects of the promotion. I mean, where do you want me to start? I'm not a big believer. If you're this good at everything else, punching power can kick rocks. He doesn't even cut easy. He's dirty as all hell. 20. He's a filthy fighter. He's going to bite your ear off like Tyson. He's got 2 box office, 20 dedication, 50 intelligence, 20 conditioning. 20 on the canvas so you can kick his ass or get right back up. He doesn't take that much of a beating. 10 takes punishment. That's the only drawback to his game. This guy could be an all-time great, and I'm not kidding. This guy is every bit as good as Fred Morales. Just a little bit less punching power. Not every bit as good. The power makes you special, but like sometimes lacking that power makes me think you might even be a better fighter. There have been great fighters with about 7 punching power in the history of boxing before. Look up Harry Greb. Todd Lopez can throw. Make no mistake. I expect this guy to win a lot of fights. That low box office sucks. I want him to get a good following quickly, but that low box office might hold him back a little bit. But I cannot believe that guy even wanted to sign with us. What an incredible fighter. It doesn't quite make up for losing Anthony Rios, but that's a great fighter right there. And let's make one last signing here in Wendy Rice at cruiserweight. Try to close that Anthony Rios-sized hole in our heart. And Wendy Rice is going to sign a 3-fight deal. He's not as good as Anthony Rios, but the cruiserweight division has provided us some magic, and I would hate to give up on it so easy, even though we do obviously have other contenders there like Tony Ali, and we must have one other fighter. Man, we got a lot of heavyweights. Rigoberto Grant. Okay, how many heavyweights do we have altogether? Let's count them. 1, 2 at Cotrill, 3 Williams, 4, 5, 6 with Ramos, 7, 8, Flores, 9, Sarnoy, 10, Filipone, 11. We have 11 heavyweights and a total of 1 flyweight, 2 super flyweights, Fred Morales and Max Rice. So we don't have a super diversified portfolio of fighters here exactly. Yeah, a lot of heavyweights, but you know what? That's where a lot of the talent is. That's where a lot of the big boys are. That's where a lot of the best, biggest, most dangerous, baddest men on the planet are. So Why would we not have a lot of heavyweights, man? Time for upgrades to the boys. Brian Mitchell. No. Eben Rodriguez. I would like to upgrade ring IQ on him. Just did McCreary. Jose Edwards, wouldn't be shocked. No, he doesn't have much. Fred Morales. What can he even upgrade? Yeah. What is there to even upgrade on Fred Morales? Kareem Ramos, nothing to upgrade. Rigoberto Grant. There we go. Let's give Rigoberto Grant stamina. Make that number green. Ricardo Cotrill. Not much, just on the canvas. You know, on the canvas is actually good at heavyweight. TBH might actually be worth leveling up. Raymond Pena. Let's do takes punishment on Raymond Pena. Do what we can to keep him undefeated. Randy Dale. Let's do defensive with Randy Dale. He's got some losses. Randy Dale is such an underrated fighter. Gervonta Williams. I would do power. I'm not going to level up his dirtiness. Rico Hartman. What can he level up? Nothing. Manuel Soto. Absolutely, we're going to do chin on Soto. Finding it light heavyweight. Frankie Edwards. Defensive, he needs it. Frankie Edwards defensive? Can you use those words together in a sentence? Andy Fitch could use some stamina. He could use some stamina before he fought Joe Hoon. But, we'll not talk about that. Oscar Garcia. Yeah, you're a heavyweight. Take some punching power. Just even a little punching power at heavyweight can help when you aren't a high power heavyweight. Lamont Williams, I feel like I already think of him as being a good punch accuracy guy. He actually is more of a power puncher at featherweight. Ramiro Rodriguez. Let's upgrade the defense. Kind of crazy how good of a record he has with well, it's punching accuracy. That's what it is. And when you've got good punching accuracy, leveling up punching power just a little bit can really matter too. You know, you hit with most of your punches, and most of them do more damage. Every punch you're hitting is doing just that little bit more damage if your punch power is higher. Duh. Dangerous Darius Mitchell. Let's do ring IQ on him. He gets into some wars. Takes punishment would help too. Cardo, no doubt. Let's do defense. Let's do defense. Very important at heavyweight. Flores. Whoops. Sarnoy. I mean, I don't know how much that's even going to do. Takes punishment. Max Rice. Can we do ring IQ as well? We can do takes punishment. Tony Ali. Let's do ring IQ first on Tony Ali. He's still only 4-0. Robert Philippone. Let's do ring IQ on him as well. He could be a really special fighter, man. He's really talented. Really all-around guy. Derek Mitchell, who we just signed, is going to get a defensive upgrade. Derek Flores, who we just signed, is going to get a ring IQ boost. Mark Martinez, who we just signed, can't boost anything. And that's going to be it for the upgrades. And we're finally going to get into these fights. Here we go. Upgrades done. Steve Ervin versus Jung Joon Lee from the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. First fight of the night. Darius Mitchell versus Muhammad Estrada. Even first couple of rounds. Good third round by Mitchell. And Mitchell gets the one-punch KO in round 4. Estrada was out on the front foot there in round 4. Mitchell not much working. And then he finds the KO with one single shot there in round 4. Williams v. Quintana. And Williams with the KO. Garcia versus  Even round 1. That's a bad round 2 for Garcia, who's going to have to bite down on his mouthpiece and find a way to apply pressure. I'm going to cover up here. Can I jab and move a little bit, maybe? Don't know about that. Let's pile on. We'll cover up. It was a bad fight for Garcia. It's tough opposition. It's a power puncher and Jamel Webster, a bigger fighter. And Jamel Webster let us know. He outlanded us 2-1. That wasn't really a particularly close fight. Oscar Garcia never really got going. And then once his energy went around round 6, it was all over. Hanging on for dear life. And that's a disappointing performance for Oscar Garcia, a young fighter we had a lot of hope for. Raymond Pena. One of the tougher fights of his career here against Khabib Ndoma, a guy with a 21-4 record out of Tanzania. He's got him on ring IQ and aggression and chin and on the canvas, but he doesn't have great stamina. So let's see how Raymond Pena handles this challenge. It's a good round 1, but you got to keep an eye on the energy here. Let's jab and move instead of covering up. It's a good round, but we're still damaged. We're going to go back to natural style. And we also aren't where I want us to be in the energy game. 49-47 is not great. We're going to go back to jab and move again. Such a tough fight. Such a weird fight so far. A lot of really even, hard to determine rounds. Just a really close, hard to score fight. And Ndoma really took it to us there in that second round. And the further we get away from that round without having a bunch of damage scored to us, the better I think we are in terms of our TKO percentage. Well positioned now to go to the body in round 7. Pena does some good damage. Then we get knocked out. Out of nowhere. And Ndoma off the back foot. Not even a particularly big power puncher, but he knocks out Raymond Pena and ends his undefeated record. Wow. Like a bolt out of the blue. We were talking about how he built up that undefeated record so low-key, so hard to notice, and that's a cracked chin I see right there as well for the 23-year-old Pena, who did not previously have said cracked chin, I don't think. And after such a long streak of success and such a long streak of knockouts, starting to be over some really impressive opposition as well, and an impressive win over Impili and Mendeville. It's maybe a little bit of a step up there against Ndoma, and he's KO'd out of the blue. And it's going to take something else from Raymond Pena. I may move him up to super lightweight, as he's gotten a little, maybe a little big for the weight. It says that it would have a negative effect on him to move him up. Possible negative effect. And it seems to not. It seems to like a weight change down a little more. He would be very big for what super featherweight. He would be huge for super featherweight. But I don't necessarily know if that would be the right decision. I mean, he's not a bad fighter at this weight class. He's not a bad fighter at any weight. I still very much believe in Raymond Pena. It would take a lot more for me to think that a weight change is a really necessary move. But it's something we got to keep on the back burner. I just personally think that as somebody with so much power who's so big for the weight, he'd be a little better served going up, not down. But that's just my read on the situation. Next fight. But that's a disappointing result. Edwards, who recently lost to 0, as well, taking on Jose Hainsworth, a very smart defensive fighter. It's a killer first round by Hainsworth. It's another good round there, and this is turning into a war. We're going to tell Edwards to pile on the pressure here, the slight heavyweight tilt. Huge round for Hainsworth. We don't like it. That is bad. That pile-on pressure decision came back to bite us. And Jose Edwards honestly needs to go for broke here, or he's going to lose another fight. And that's not going for broke. And we're pretty much screwed. I feel like part of this was my strategy decisions. But we're in some real trouble right now with Jose Edwards. And yeah, he just piles on and bullies us into submission. We got 2 for 1 in that fight. Jose Hainsworth just beat us up, and that's a really big step back there for Jose Edwards. That was supposed to be a nice win to reestablish himself in the division. And I mean, his on the canvas isn't good anymore, but his chin isn't cracked. But I'm very disappointed right now in Jose Edwards. A couple disappointing losses here at contender level, but he's been fighting good competition since very early in his career. down here. I mean, Kevin Sanchez as early as 2027, Adam Prado in 28, and then Martinez, Cody Clark. He's got some really good wins here. And he got ranked up maybe a little bit too far, a little bit too fast. I don't know if a weight change up to cruiserweight might work. Yeah. I think a change up to cruiserweight might work for Jose Edwards. Because he's also a similarly powerful puncher. And that move may come actually sooner. I think I may make that move. Maybe even in one more tough fight, maybe not even a loss, because we were so invested in Jose Edwards as a contender now, getting somewhere now. It might be a little bit of a rush move, but I'm really disappointed with his form, and I want to do something about it. And I think getting him to a weight where he's more comfortable would really, really help that, and I think that's definitely a weight change up for a powerful puncher like him. Although the cruiserweight division is just as brutal of a division, and who knows, it could just be a matter of, he's only got 13 ring IQ, 13 defense, only 12 stamina. He could just not be that good. He could have just gotten off to a really good start in his career and went a little bit too far too fast. That loss is concerning in that regard. That loss really could mean that. Hainsworth is not the most talented of opposition. Main event of the evening. Steve Ervin versus Sung-Joon Lee. Maybe I'll make better strategy calls on fast instead of fastest. Joon Lee off to a good start. We really need a pick-me-up here from unnerving Steve Ervin. Here up near the top of the super middleweight division. These are two very, very highly ranked super middleweights. I'm not sure if Sung-Joon Lee has fought at the title level. I wouldn't be surprised for one single second if he has. Unquestionably two top-ranked middleweights by multiple belt organizations, or they would not be here. And Joon Lee taking round 2 until Ervin begins to land at the end of the round. Probably still a Sung-Joon Lee round, but a boring, slow round. Lee off to a good start before Ervin lands a big combination there about a minute in. Lee scoring back. Lee then catching one back from Ervin. Ervin gets through the guard. Lands some shots to the body, but it's some counter work from Lee, who lands the more explosive punches. Ervin going to go to the body, and we pay for it. My strategy is just terrible tonight. We get knocked down, and Ervin's going to have to hang on. It's big shots to the body. Hopefully that damages Lee's gas tank, but we're down, obviously, in the fight now after that knockdown. Good connections there from Ervin, standing in the center of the ring. Still a minute of this round to work. If Ervin can dominate the minute, maybe, but he doesn't. And he definitely dropped that round. I don't know what they're talking about. We get knocked down and don't succeed in limiting his energy, which is what we wanted. To take energy away from Lee, who is still the more energetic fighter, still doing the better work, and lands big shots on Ervin. What is the stick and move scenario? Not great. He's not a great fighter to jab and move against, as we get dominated in that round and then have to try to manufacture a comeback. I am going to jab and move for a round. I'm so scared that I'm going to put it on fastest. Okay, nothing to be scared about. That sort of limited his offense. We'll go back to natural style. We have that in the back pocket if we want another slow round. But what we also could have done is give a really good fighter in Lee a round off. Trading in the first minute. Halfway through the round, it's a Lee round now. Really good 30 seconds there. Lee between 2 minutes and 1:30. Now in the last minute, Lee continuing to pile on. And Ervin is just second best in this fight right now, unfortunately. Ervin just feels second best in this fight. He feels behind. We're going to go natural style for one more round and see if Ervin can find something. It's just been slow lately. At some point, nothing has happened in this round at all. At all. And finally, Ervin there at the end of the round starts to add something to the proceedings. We're going to pile on pressure, to be honest with you. I was going to wait till the last round, but nah. So little has been happening. Why not just initiate some action? It's Lee landing everything. Ervin just can't even, he seems like he isn't even punching. And then out of the blue, There's the one big shot I guess he was looking for. He gets a knockdown. Gets wobbled there to end the round. But now we're even on knockdowns. Who knows if we even won that round? Who knows what the score of this fight is right now with that result right there? We're definitely going for broke here with the last of our energy. Steve Ervin looking to go out on his shield against Sungjoon Lee in what's been an incredible fight. It's a good start to the round by Ervin, but it's a big shot back from Lee. And Lee is now taking control of the round. Ervin needs to throw. Ervin throwing to end the fight. Good shots by Ervin. Good combos by Ervin to end it. Who will they give this fight to? 94-94. 97-91 Ervin and 97-91 Ervin for the winner by majority decision. Man, oh man, unnerving Steve Ervin escapes over Sungjoon Lee. That was a classic. That was one of the better fights of the save, weirdly. There were some slow rounds. There were some losing rounds, but some rounds where we were behind, but he clutched that knockdown, clutched the last round, and managed to just eke out enough points to get a win. I'd be very unhappy if I was Lee. I feel like Lee... I do actually kind of feel like Lee won that fight, weirdly. I do kind of weirdly feel like Lee won that fight. We both had a knockdown. He outscored me. He outpower punched me. And the rounds that we won, like round 1 was close. Round 3, super close. Round 6, super close. So, yeah. Tough to score that fight for Ervin, but they do. And we escape with a victory miraculously. I see Morales is available for a fight. Let's go 1 week. I'm always looking out for a title shot from Morales. It's never too soon for Fred. He's so talented. It's never too soon for a title shot for him. It's crazy. He still hasn't got one, man. What do I have to do? Nope, not there. Okay, so we're just going to go to our event. What's McCreary got? Nothing. Some good ranked contenders, but nothing crazy. We're going to do our event for these world titles. And time to start. Ramos versus Martinez. Been worried for these undefeated fighters lately. I'm going to keep giving me perfectly valid reason to be worried. Accidentally played it on fast, so I'm going to spin the New Vegas slot machine real quick. I won 30 chips. I'm at the top, so let me know your favorite casino in New Vegas down in the comment section. If it's the Gamora, you're a dirty bastard. If it's that one where you're a cannibal, props. Same. Same. Cannibal gang. That's that one where, like, in New Vegas, but seriously, like, when you walk into the casino, I'm immediately just like, everyone here's a cannibal, right? I just see them in tuxedos. I'm like, these dudes eat people. Like, 100%. You all know the casino in New Vegas I'm talking about. I don't remember what it's called. Ultralux. You go into the Ultralux, but immediately you can tell everyone here eats people. You're like, oh, this is the cannibal quest. It's like how every RPG has to have a cannibal quest and a serial killer quest. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Every single RPG. There's always a serial killer and there's always cannibals. I mean, there's cannibals all over Skyrim. The Forsworn eat people. The Wood Elves eat people. I mean, let's be honest. The Thalmor have to eat people. The Thalmor are really trying to win the best racist competition, huh? Like, they're like... The Thalmor really are better at being racist than anybody else. They're, like, dedicated to their craft. If you play as an Altmer, as Rice gets a KO over Glenn Alfaro, a dangerous puncher there, Glenn Alfaro. What an absolute glass cannon of a fighter. Glenn the glass cannon Alfaro. But no, if you play as an Altmer in Skyrim, which is the exact same race of the High Elves. Like, the High Elves, if you play as, like, you know, whatever other race, like, and you walk down the road, they'll just shit-talk you. And it's... as whatever race you play in Skyrim. But even if you play as a High Elf like them, they'll be like, you're a disgrace to the High Elf race. Like, they just hate you no matter who you are. But they're a good like litmus test for the early game, the Thalmor, because they'll just like randomly encounter them on the road, and if you're like level 1, they'll absolutely whoop you. You'll have no shot. But if you're like a level 15, 25 wizard, or like just anything, you can just whoop a group of Thalmor. If you're any kind of powerful Dragonborn, just hit him with one Fusro Da. It's such a blast, man. I love modding Skyrim to make it a much more hardcore RPG. I think everybody does. That's one of the great things about, like, Skyrim is just, I think part of why it's so moddable is because they didn't try to make it that way. And Starfield was just way too much of like a playground for modders. It's like, oh, we're going to make 1,000 planets. It's like, why are you assuming that the fans are going to fill in 1,000 planets for you? Actually make something. And it just does a lot of stuff that No Man's Sky does a lot better. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. There might be one day where in fact, I'm sure there will be. Now that I have a capture card where I just upload myself playing No Man's Sky for 1 billion episodes the same way I'm playing this game. I really am a volume guy. I right now I'm quantity over quality in a lot of ways. Speaking of quantity over quality, Ramiro Rodriguez doesn't give us any damn quality in that fight. He lost that thing wire to wire where I was blathering. I tried to help him, but I mean, it's just one of those cases where we just get badly outlanded. And yeah, at some point your fighters have got to get fraud checked. And we're seeing just how tough it is to get to that real championship level in a lot of cases. Oscar Garcia. Don't really know if I'm going to bring him back. 2 fights left. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to re-sign him. We'll let it go down to 1. Brandon Ramos is totally getting an extension. Wouldn't want to lose him. I'm still mad about Rios. Don't you worry. I'm still very much mad about Rios. But Garcia, yeah, Garcia isn't guaranteed anything right now. This card is still not over. Edwards versus Neary. This should be a good one. Frankie Edwards. Could really use a win to get somewhere. In the middleweight division super middleweight division for some reason still. He hasn't proved it to you guys yet. Maybe he has now. A 3rd round KO for Frankie Edwards who just keeps bringing it. And the support bout, Kareem Ramos versus Chana Galaxy. One of the better names in the game. Mr. Galaxy. It's an even first and second round. Galaxy with a good 3rd round, but takes the more significant damage. He doesn't really seem able to damage Ramos despite all the volume he's offered, and Ramos now goes to the body. Now we can pile on pressure. Are we just like straight a better puncher? Let's plant our feet. Let's plant our feet. I don't think he can hit us back that hard. That worked very well. We're going to continue to plant our feet. Yeah, he has no answer to Ramos's punching ability. We're going to stay on natural style, but Ramos is in control of this fight. They'd really have to rob it from us for us to lose, though. So let's pile on pressure. Yeah, we won that fight. And there we go. They do give it to Ramos by unanimous decision. Chana Galaxy gave us a nice little try there. He's actually a decent fighter, but Ramos with the win. And Manuel Soto against another Thai fighter, Kacha Sithpajuk. This should be a tough one. Soto, he's got a knockout in every fight of his career so far. What can he do here? Good first round from Sithpajuk. Not what you want to see, and it's a good second round as well. Uh-oh. Soto, maybe in a little trouble, and he gets a knockdown. Maybe not in a little trouble. And he finishes the fight in round 5. He just needed his time to find his range. Soto is like that sometimes. I think we've seen him do that before. Have a rough first round, rough second round, and then in the 3rd, 4th round, really coming to his own, and he gets the finish there over Kacha Sithpajuk. Never in doubt, never a worry. And boys, we have some title fights to watch. A big cruiserweight title fight. Youngman Park versus Matamba D-Batch. Round 1. We've watched Park fight before. I was impressed by him. He's got that dog in him for sure. He's down to D-Batch here. D-Batch with good body shots in that round. Good body shots from D-Batch again. He's exhausted, though. Park really weathering the storm and also outlanding. D-Batch with volume in that round, but Park piling it on, and D-Batch is completely exhausted. And Park doesn't need to pile on pressure. Instead, he just lands the big shot. This is a cruiserweight fight and gets D-Batch out of there despite D-Batch having the higher punch power attribute. It didn't matter for nothing. Jongmin Park and still the WBA, WBO cruiserweight world champion. And it's Joshua Martinez Morales at 40-20-1. Just a beast record and an insane career here for Joshua Martinez Morales, who has done so much in this game, only at 1 weight class. but the undisputed bantamweight champion of the world, and he earned it the hard way. And Catalu Freddy gonna try to take it from him. This should be a fun fight. Maybe not the highest level fight, actually, for being an undisputed bantamweight title, but Joshua Martinez Morales, never mind. He's an incredibly high-level fighter. He's about as good as they get. He's about as good as they get. Look at the attributes. That's 7 aggression, man. 14 defense. 14 defense. This guy might be the perfect fighter. He might be the perfect fighter. You don't think, oh, 20 defense is the best. I don't know. Because I feel like when you have 7 aggression and 14 defense, I feel like his decision-making is just going to be correct. Has he ever lost? He has. He's lost a couple of fights. So maybe he doesn't simulate quite as well as I thought, but he's 7-0 in title fights. And he's on 7 straight title defenses against some pretty good fighters, too. And here we go. Catalu Freddy has a heck of a challenge in front of him in the form of Joshua Martinez Morales. Let's see what he can make of it. He gets a knockdown in first round. Morales damaged. Responds very well in the second round. Responds better in the third round. Shocked he didn't get the finish. He got so close. He had him at like 95% and landed a bunch more punches. And Freddy is still hanging in there. But that's the finish. Morales pours it on in round 4. Man, he's really good. He's almost too good. And that was somewhere between impressive and scary. And we've got a really fun title fight here in the strawweight division. 2 crazy strawweights. Vistket, another Thai fighter. He could use a little more development. He's 26. I say that because his punching isn't quite there. 15 punching power, 16 accuracy. He's actually 20-20. Not great defense and not great takes punishment to go with only 8 intelligence, but he's undefeated, and that it's on the line here against a very impressive fighter who's only 10-1, but I don't really care with those attributes. I've never seen a fighter with that few fights in a unification title fight before. Strawweight might be the division where that would happen. But he's huge, first off. 5'3". Huge. 5'3" is not huge. But for strawweight, not bad. Big dude for strawweight. And punch power, huge. Crazy defense. Crazy stamina. This guy could move up a few weight classes and end up being one of the better fighters in the world. I think he has that level of talent. He was knocked out by Ryan Urbina somehow. But this guy's obviously a special talent. Let's see if he can win a couple title fights. He got a really big jump up here to get this title fight. I mean, he's fought some really good dudes starting from really early in his career. Only in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His 6th professional fight, he fought 9-3 Martin Sanchez. So they threw him off the deep end kind of early, and he responded emphatically. And now he's in a unification fight in only his 12th professional bout. Can he win it? Even first round. He loses the second round. Vistket ahead. Vistket pouring it on in round 3, and uh-oh. Maybe Manganda just doesn't have it on that title level. As Vistket seems well in control. Manganda behind, losing every round. Decent round there. It's back to another round from Vistket. Yeah, Mapando's got to find something. He's not finding anything. And Vistket, and still undefeated WBC, WBA strawweight title holder, and Mpando's going to have to go back to the board. Might not be the last we see of him. He's good. And last event of the episode, Tony Seals versus Henry Tafer. A really, really stacked card. Full of what should be really, really fun fights. Starting with Robert Philippone versus Samsondine Boyle. This should be a rollover for Philippone. Big round there from Boyle. Crazy we took damage from a 3-18 fighter. Maybe a little concerning sign for Philippone there. But Philippone gets the win, 4-0. Randy Dale versus Gerald Cruz. This is the first really high-level pro fight of the night, and there's a lot of them. Randy Dale coming back 2 rounds in a row, getting walloped early in the rounds, and then coming back. Good start to round 4 there. Sorry, round 5. Sorry. Jesus. Whatever. Now it's round 5. It was round 3 when I was talking before, but by then I'm so far back and I've messed up my numbers so bad because I'm tired. It's like 2 in the morning. Randy Dale. It says round 7. That was just round 6. And now it's round 7. Okay, and now it's round 8. And we're still piling on pressure and trying to finish Gerald Cruz and hoping that we don't get hit with a big counter punch. We do not. We don't finish the fight, but that's a lopsided win for Randy Dale. We outpunched him 23-5. And Randy Dale goes to 25-5. That's a crisp record. Speaking of crisp records, can Rigoberto Cruz go to 10-0 against Shakura Chapman? I think probably. Rigoberto Grant can in fact fight. He's got a big cut. Let's pile on pressure. Not the best idea I've ever had. We'll go back to natural style. Hopefully the pressure eases off. It doesn't at all. Chapman is on the attack. We're going to jab and move on him. I think that's sort of the obvious move here. Use our boxing. Nice. Now we'll go back to natural style. I'm afraid of pile-on pressure. We barely eke that round out. We're going to have to go for broke here. I can't believe it, but we might lose this fight. Rigoberto Grant might be about to lose his undefeated record on some BS. Go for broke, Rigoberto. But I mean, once again, it's just one of those annoying fights where, like, you've got a guy who you know is a good fighter and he just isn't punching. I mean, look at his skill set, and he's just not throwing punches. And finally, here we go. Asserting himself in this round, but he's not really winning the round by enough. Don't even know. I don't think we won that fight. Wow, we win it by a single point on one scorecard. That would have been a draw if that last one was 94-94. The cards end up reading 94-93, 94-94, and 94-93, as close as it can get for the winner by majority decision, Rigoberto Grant. But you know what? If he's an undefeated champion one day, we're not even going to remember that ever happened. But man, I wouldn't even define that as an escape. I don't know if he really deserved to win that fight. Evan Rodriguez needs to show me something better against Dean St. John. And it's a good start for Eben. Ooh, knockdown for Eben Rodriguez. Will Dean St. John be getting up? Tasting the power from Eben. Gets up at the count of 9. Eben's going to chase the finish. Probably get it here? No. St. John manages to come back off the back foot and avoid the KO, but I think Eben's going to finish it here. Yes, he does. Just a clean knockout with a 10 count. And St. John does not get back up. A violent finish there for Eben Rodriguez, who improves to 12-0 with 12 KOs in the heavyweight division. And that's when you start putting people on notice. Speaking of 12-0 with 12 KOs, the beast from East Bethel, Brian Mitchell. Oh, no, it was the East Bethel Bomber. The East Bethel Bomber, Brian Mitchell. Needs to bomb on some people. Bomb on him like a dang air raid. Let's go. We go to the body, completely drain him. Back to natural style. And there's the TKO. Brian Mitchell up to 13-0 against Olivares in the main event of the evening. That flew by. The only real challenge there we had was the Rigoberto Grant decision. As that event kind of flew by. Even Rodriguez, we got some guys who need new contracts, but we'll deal with that after this. Tony Seals versus Henry Tafer. Let's put this thing on fast. The real deal. Looking to avoid an upset from the European champion. And it's a good start for Seals. He lands a combo out of the gates. Tafer back with the combo of his own, but Seals looking fresh and crisp here in round 1. Cuts right through Tafer's guard and lands a combo. Couple quick punches from Tafer, but it's more power shots from Seals. Nice power punching from Seals there in round 1. I would very much like it if they gave him that round. Tafer. Seals with just nothing for Tafer in this round. What is going on? We need to cover up here. And hopefully the counter-punching for Seals can work wonders. He is a good counter-puncher. Tafer continuing to press forward. We need to not give him the openings. We need to actually counter-punch if I say cover up, and we're not doing that. We're still taking damage, and I'm worried for Seals at this point. This is absolutely going to be a jab and move round for the superior puncher, the man with the superior hands, and Tony Seals. He needs to move and use the ring and use his boxing. And if we don't, we might be out of here in a jiff and in a much tougher spot in the middleweight division. We need to actually throw punches, and I'm just not seeing it. Finally, a power shot from Seals. Feels like it's first into the first round, and he steals that round. Some actually decent stuff there from Seals at the end of that round, but we're still damaged. This fight moving at a bit of a snail's pace, and it's probably not just because I'm on fast. It hasn't been that high volume. But the shots that are landing are landing. Tafer landing damaging blows to us. And now ahead in the round. We need to stop giving away rounds like this. I want to see work from Seals. He evens it back up. Lands a nice combo at the end there, but the last combo to make it 14-14. And this is an insanely intense and close fight. I'm just going to keep it on natural style. I'm not going to risk going to the body with Tony Seals, who's a superior puncher. I'll risk jab and move. And you can even call that a risk as Tafer having trouble finding the range right now. It might be a good time to jab and move, actually. Stay out of danger. Make him chase us around. Maybe even damage him a little bit as it's a good start. We're dancing and moving. Forcing him to commit, forcing him to engage, forcing him to try to come inside. He does get inside, but we wallop him. And it's basically 2-1. Tafer with a shot. Seals back the other way. Big shots from Tafer. Seals with a little bit of a lead there. Got him down. The last of his energy, but he can be dangerous there. There hasn't been much damaging punching going on lately. I think Seals managed to get Tafer into the red, but now, ooh. Big shots from Tafer there. Seals doesn't like it, but he only does so much in return, and Tafer may have projected himself back into the lead of the fight. I'm not sure what to do here. Maybe we do go back to jab and move again. It's been working for us. And it works yet again. At least to start the round. Tafer landing shots. Whenever Tafer lands shots, it seems like we're eking towards a KO. We're closer to the KO than he is, unfortunately. Taking the heavier damage overall in the fight, but we are managing to get something back. But Tafer is clearly very tough. And I think we are going to go for broke here in the last round on 1% energy to his 0. I just want Tony Seals to really try. I don't want pile-on pressure. I feel like on pile-on pressure, you can leave yourself open. Speaking of leaving yourself open, Tafer starts to land, but when go for broke, Seals is just going to keep letting his fists go. So if Tafer wants to land on us, we'll just land back. And hopefully we don't get put out of there. This is going to be a tough fight to score. A lot of close rounds. Judge 1 for Tafer. Judge 2 for Seals. Judge 3 for Seals. And we escape by split decision. I think I agree with that, to be honest with you. We lost on the punch stats, but there was just something about that performance from Seals that I really liked. I know that on the numbers, I get it. He's closer to stopping us, right? And he out-power punched us in that round, but there was something about that last round where I just feel like Tony Seals won it. I know that's stupid. You can give Tafer this round 10-8. Maybe some of them did. But it's a good first round from Seals. It's a competitive third round, even though he lost it after a bad second. And then it's a nice run here all the way through round 7, where he doesn't really clearly drop a round in there, and 3 clear wins and a draw, basically. Another bad round in round 5. His worst round of the fight, but then a really positive round 9 and round 10, even though he may have lost round 10. Tafer gave him everything he could handle and won on a scorecard, but Tony Seals escapes with a split decision win that was nowhere near as comfortable as I might have wanted it to be, but that was a very fun fight for the real deal, who continues to provide endless entertainment. He has probably been, honestly, I can't even lie, he obviously has been the best fighter of the save. I mean, like, we're not giving him his flowers if he's not. Is he the undefeated, undisputed champion of the world? No, but we're not going to get that immediately. And he has been a bell cow. He has been the centrifuge of this promotion. He has been the glue. He has been the straw that stirs the drink so far. But some of these young prospects, like the guys we're about to give new contracts, and Brian Mitchell and Eben Rodriguez, have been able to accumulate followings and fan bases here, clearly, that, you know, some of our veterans have only been able to dream of. Although, for what it's worth, I think that Gervonta Williams and Fred Morales are actually our 2 best fighters, and that reality will play that out eventually. When is this Palacios Donnelly fight? Let's, man, we've got some big title fights coming up. Let's give Fitch a new contract. I may I may finish this with some title fights. We're only going to give Garcia 3 fights. You know, no. Garcia was on 2 fights. We were going to see about him, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Garcia's in the doghouse, sort of. But we've got Palacios versus Donnelly again coming up. We've got Usainov fighting for 1 belt against an absolutely insane challenger. And that appears to be, that's in 2 weeks. And then Amperan versus Brandon Foley on the 28th. And then this fight on the 12th. That's a long time now. Man, a crazy undefeated matchup for the featherweight title. That'll be fun, but that's in a while. You know what? Yeah, why not? Let's just do these title fights and then end the episode. I said I was going to end the episode with that last event, but no, let's do the title fights. All right, Palacios versus Donnelly. This is a rematch, a very controversial decision for Bill Donnelly, I believe, earlier in the episode. Yeah, I don't think Bill Donnelly lost that fight. I definitely didn't think he deserved to lose his undefeated record for his performance or perceived lack thereof. So let's see if Bill Donnelly can get some get back here against Uriel Palacios. I was disgusted by that last decision. Meant to watch the start on fastest. Of course, we're on fast. Action-packed first minute, though. Maybe glad that we did watch it on fast. Palacios out to a lead now after some crazy exchanges. Donnelly firing back. Palacios exchanging. This is Hagler Hearns, man. We're watching this on fast for sure. 23-19, huh? These guys are going at it. This is a crazy fight. Donnelly landing big shots on Palacios. Palacios landing back. Donnelly is just angry, man. Donnelly does not like it. Donnelly still considers himself undefeated just as much as all of his fans do. Man, he took that personal. He has taken it personal so far. Palacios is going to have to find a way. There's some power shots to start round 3. I'd like to see more volume from Palacios just to keep Donnelly off him. Donnelly's been very aggressive so far. And back comes Donnelly. He's always got a chance here in a low intensity round. Who knows who won that one? It wasn't a very good round. Round 4. This fight has slowed down a little bit. Palacios, now the one providing more action, pouring it on to Donnelly. Donnelly needs to take it a little easy here. Palacios with really good work there on Donnelly. Let's go fastest here for the middle rounds. And Donnelly comes back with a round of his own, man. These guys are just... And then there's an even round. I mean, that's how you know that these guys are just trading. You get a big round for Palacios, a big round for Donnelly, and then they do an even one. Right now, Donnelly's ahead. Again, he's been the more aggressive fighter, and Palacios has been worn down, basically trying to keep Donnelly's aggression at bay. He gets a good start to the round there. Palacios thinks he's in control of the tempo, but Donnelly's really in control. He's got the ring control, and then evens out the punch total there at the end, wins that round as well. Palacios, the more tired fighter. Donnelly is easily in control of this fight yet again. This honestly looks like he's just slightly better in this fight than he was in the last one, and they gave the last fight to Palacios. I'm still worried that if Palacios has a good, last couple of rounds, he can win this fight. Let's just put it on fast just in case. But maybe they gave him that round. Who knows? Maybe there's a judge out there somewhere scoring this thing as a draw for Palacios because that last fight was so ridiculous against Donnelly. Donnelly needs to somehow, we're in a position where, I'm saying he's got to win this round, which is absurd because he's won the fight by 10 rounds. Hopefully it's a lopsided decision here for Bill Donnelly and he gets his belts back that he probably never should have lost, although Uriel Palacios has given himself a good name. And thankfully, it's a solid unanimous decision win for Bill Donnelly. Maybe a lot of people in Nicaragua will call for a trilogy, and we will see if we get it. Oh, and look at this. Look at this. Look at Gilberto Gomez. Gilberto Gomez moving up from lightweight, gets those 2 wins against Jermaine Neves and moves right up to welterweight. This guy is chasing GOAT status. He's already the #1 pound for pound. He's trying to turn into Manny Pacquiao. He's going weight class after weight class after weight class. How about Gilberto Gomez? As I was checking our fight schedule and I saw him in there for Gabriel McCreary. More of the game. You can't actually make the fight. It's more of the game saying, hey, did you know Gilberto Gomez moved up in weight again? What a badass. And you know what? This is only for 1 belt, but it's such a good fight. I'm going to watch it anyway. It's 29-1 multi-division legend Christian Usanov defending his IBF belt that he won over Andre Iliev yet again against Rafael Ahoeli from New Zealand, who, despite a little bit of a checkered record, has an absolutely insane. His losses are nuts. This is Wesley Jackson he drew, who I know is a veteran of the division now, 25-1. That's a really insane fight early in your career. Mark Kuzner. I'm going through this guy's whole record. It's kind of crazy. And then look, Emerson Gomez. He loses to, the title, the world champion. His first loss is to Angel Barcala, who was 11-0 at the time. Draws an 11-1 fighter, loses to a 13-0 fighter, loses to a 31-9 fighter, and then loses to Aldanganov. And this should be a fun one because he's a very gifted puncher. He's a much better puncher than Usanov. So let's see who comes out on top, even if it is only for 1 belt. And Usanov is pouring it on. That was an easy win for Usanov. Eholeli disappointed me. Amparan versus Brandon Foley of New York, New York. I was mad this guy got a title shot. Let's hope that he loses. I don't like fighters from New York that aren't our guys winning, and Amparan is one of my favorite fighters just because they put him so high on the pound-for-pound list so fast. He's got a lot to prove to a lot of people who doubt him, doubt that he's special, kind of like the in-a-way haters in real life. Amparan still pouring on, gets the KO over Brandon Foley. That's more like it. Brandon Foley gave it a decent try there, actually. But Amparan gets the KO. And that's it for big fights now. And that's going to do it for the episode. That was a really up and down episode. It sucks that we lost Rios. That was sort of my main point. But also some really great successes, some cool stuff happening in the world. And some fun fights, some fun wins, some close fights, some heartbreak. That was an action-packed one. And hopefully we're coming up closer and closer to title glory. And we're going to get some really, really good entertainment with Gilberto Gomez moving up as an absolute force in the and where is he? Is he in the pound-for-pound rankings right now? He's down there because he hasn't done anything in his current weight class. But Gilberto Gomez at welterweight is the weight that he moved to, the same weight as Edgar Amparan. So, man, imagine that super fight, huh? Imagine that super fight. Imagine him fighting Joe Hoon. There's got to be some opportunities from him at welterweight. Some crazy fights for Gilberto Gomez at welterweight. Maybe, why do we keep torturing Gabriel McCreary? Can Gabriel McCreary get a champion that isn't an absolute demon? I mean, I feel like Amparan would be actually a competitive fight for McCreary in a lot of ways, more competitive than Gilberto Gomez, who I think would put him in a coffin. Although moving up in weight like this has affected Gilberto Gomez's stamina, so we shall see if he manages to keep that impressive undefeated record, especially as such a small welterweight, standing only 5'4". But yeah, that was a fun episode. We'll see you next time, guys. We're just locked into BM for sure.